Yep. As we leave Winnipeg and welcome you to Regina, all we can say is we hope the second half of our doubleheader is as good as the first. What a spectacular game. Big questions for the Roughriders. Injuries. No Wes Cates, no TJ Stansel, but a huge crowd behind them in support. To call it, Mark Lee, Chris Walby. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Elliot. It's windy here on the prairies with gusts up to a football frenzy here in Regina as the Riders prepare to play the Stampeders in their first home playoff game in nearly 2 decades. And it's made even better, Chris, by the return of Henry Burris. After his acrimonious split a few years ago, he's recovered from a dislocated shoulder, but he's playing with a chip on his shoulder today.
Well, a chip on his shoulder because he felt that he was not awarded the most outstanding player out of the West. That honor instead will go to the quarterback he's facing across the field. But you know what? It's about what have you done for me lately? And it's about the history. When we talk about the history of Henry Burris, it's not pretty in the playoffs. 6 interceptions, 3 fumbles, and more importantly, Mark, no touchdowns in the last 2 playoff games. But let's go back now and flash forward. And the fact is, this year, 34 touchdowns and 5 against Saskatchewan last time he played.
How about Kerry Joseph? He's carried this team with the loss of Dominguez and now Cates.
Well, Cates is a leading rusher, but one of the reasons Saskatchewan ended up 12-6 is because of Kerry Joseph and the protection he's done. Only 8 interceptions, a career low. He is one of the big factors today because if he can't beat you with the pass, he'll do it with his legs as he rushed for 13 touchdowns, the most by any quarterback this year.
The 7th consecutive sellout here at Taylor Field as we take a look at your game notes.
Well, let's take a look. And obviously, for offense, it's Hank or Frank, and it's Hank Burris. If it's a good day, boy, he's going to put the touchdowns up. When it's a bad day like the last 2 playoff games, where all he threw were interceptions, it's going to be a long afternoon for Calgary. On defense, the 4-3 defense in its 5th game under Tim Burke, the new defense coordinator, has to let loose. A lot of pressure on Kerry Joseph and stuff the running game. For Saskatchewan on offense, F-Troop must lead the charge, and I'm talking about Andy Fantus and DJ Flick. Hey, combined, 27 catches, 460 yards. You got to have big production for these two. And on defense, keep Burris corralled. I expect to see Henry Burris take off with the ball every opportunity because it's do or die.
And the wind will be a factor here today under this big prairie sky. It's 9 degrees, great temperature, but the wind is gusting out of the northwest at 61 kilometers per hour. So the coin toss, might that be the turning point? Here today, the Riders won the toss. They have deferred. So Calgary will take the wind in the 2nd quarter. They will kick it off into the wind here this afternoon. It's semi-final Sunday. Coming your way in high definition, Corey Holmes, the most popular Rough Rider, along with Josh Ronick, back to receive the opening kickoff from the West All-Star on special teams, Sandro DeAngelis, and we're underway. A short kick into the wind to the 30. Corey Holmes, the number 2 kick returner in the league this year, is tracked down just shy of the 50-yard line for a 19-yard return. Kerry Joseph, as we mentioned off the top of the broadcast, has carried this football team. He is the West Division All-Star at quarterback and the nominee in the West for most outstanding player. And he comes into this football game without 2 of his biggest weapons. Wes Cates cannot play because of an arch injury in his foot. Dominguez has been gone since mid-season. With the wind on 1st down, Joseph play action. Throwing downfield, DJ Flick's got it, and he's still on his feet. Tight roping to the end zone. Touchdown on the opening play. Oh, they've come from all over the province of Saskatchewan and even parts of the country to see this game today. And what a start for the Riders in their retro green and white.
Well, we're going to run a little play action. Corey Holmes is going to get the start at running back. Defensive end goes to the bait, takes the bait, allows Joseph to the outside. You can't give him that much time, and he finds DJ Flick, who works himself away from the coverage of Cedric Williams. And the result is an opening play touchdown and a way to get the crowd even more lively if that's possible.
DJ Flick, the Riders' leading receiver, connects for 62 yards. And an opening touchdown, his longest catch of the year.
Well, you see there, it's Corey Holmes in the fake, and watch the end get sucked inside, and once he gets outside, it really puts that defense in a bind because Kerry Joseph has all the time in the world. He can run or he can throw. And that, because of that extra time, allows DJ Flick to get to the outside of the cover man Williams, and he takes it the rest of the way, 62 yards for an opening score.
DJ Flick has had his 2 biggest games this year against the Stampeders. 115 yards in one, 157 in the other. And he burned Cedric Williams on that opening TD play.
Well, since you want to talk stats, let's do this. 3 games, 18 catches, Mark, 347 yards and 2 touchdowns. He has been a game breaker for Saskatchewan against the Stampeders.
Ken Austin, in his rookie season as a head coach, leading the Riders to their first 12-win season since 1970 and their first home playoff since 1988. Tom Higgins, wow, he's been tortured this week with reports that he's through as head coach of the Stamps, that John Hufnagel has already been hired to replace him. What an awful way to go into the playoffs, but Higgins has been a class act all week. On the return, Marcus Howell, who has been a threat on punt returns, has a good return on the opening kickoff and good field position for Henry Burris. He had a career high, matched his career high, 5 touchdown passes in Calgary's only win this year against Saskatchewan. Neil alluded to the fact that he thought he should have been the nominee for most outstanding player in the West. The fans here have come armed with all kinds of posters and banners after his split with this team 3 years ago. He'll go into the wind and against the noise. On first down, play action, and he'll run. And Burris will tiptoe out of bounds at the first down marker at the Calgary 45.
Well, you know, you talk about an X factor. When you take a look at the offense, Henry Burris is that X factor at quarterback because I expect to see him take off with the ball a lot. He did exactly the same play that Kerry Joseph did with a little play action. Gets to the outside, picks up a first down. Reynolds has to have a big ball game today running the ball. And look at the receiving crew. Rambo, Copeland, Lewis, they can all get it done. Watch for the big game for the Canadian Ralph on the outside. And an offensive line. Hey, Jay McNeil hanging it up after the end of this year in his 13th playoff game.
First down after the carry of 11. There's a fumble. Ball's loose. Still open. Who's got it? The Riders say they've recovered. Turnovers have killed Calgary in the playoffs the last 2 years, and they've committed one on their opening offensive series. It's Saskatchewan football as Moose Jaws Scott Schultz comes up with it. You're watching the CFL on CBC in HD. The Calgary Stampeders had a league-worst 24 fumbles this year, and they've committed their first on the opening drive, recovered by Scott Schultz.
Well, take a look at him. I'm going to freeze it right there, guys. Freeze it. Now, the quarterback has the option to pull the ball and go to the outside as the end bites on the play action. As he pulls out, he just simply loses control of that ball and actually forces it out, and it's recovered by Scott Schultz. But another fumble to haunt Henry Burris.
Stamps had 6 turnovers last year in the West semifinal at home in that loss to Saskatchewan. Here's Joseph dropping back to pass. He can't get the pass away. It's knocked out of his hand, and he's down to recover it himself. So a close call for the Roughriders, but they'll retain possession with a huge loss on the play of 8 yards.
Well, and it's K'Ron Williams at the top, who normally plays defensive tackle, and he's playing with a cast on his right hand. He has a deep bruise on that hand. They
it's
put
actually
the cast,
a break on that hand.
They say it's healed up nice. It's just they want to prevent any further injury. They moved him to the outside. They weren't sure what kind of performance they're going to get out of him, but that's a good indication. We have to start there with good pressure.
Subbing for the injured Anthony Gargiulo, who was attacked last week by Jimenez of BC. That nether pass is batted down. Flags are on the field. And twice now, Joseph has been unable to get his pass away.
Well, as we sort out this penalty mark, the big thing is that they're bringing a lot of pressure. Tim Burke, the defensive coordinator for Calgary, says we cannot rely on coverage ability alone.
Offside, Saskatchewan, number 3, decline. 3rd down.
Last week, Kerry Joseph was on his heels all afternoon against a pressured Toronto defense, and Calgary's brought the same as we check the starting offense for Saskatchewan.
Well, we talk a lot about Corey Holmes being in place of Wes Cates, but I think the key is Neil Hughes, the fullback, in place of Zarka. Murphy and Flick with that outstanding 62-yard opening play touchdown. Fantu's watch for him to have a big game in the inside. An offensive line that really is led by Mikowski and O'Day, the veterans.
Luka Kanji now to attempt this field goal from the 47-yard line. He hits it hard with the wind, and good. Kanji with 3 off the turnover for Saskatchewan. So the Stampeders give up a field goal off the turnover, and Joffrey Reynolds has his first carry of the football game. Reynolds had his best game of the season on the ground against this Saskatchewan defense. 154 yards back in September. That carry, a gain of 6. 2nd and 4. Burris, quick release and incomplete. Intended for Jermaine Copeland, and Lance Frazier, who's back in the lineup from injury, helps to bust it up.
Well, good pressure and good coverage as Frazier, as you say, is back in the lineup from the hamstring, providing tight coverage. But the defensive line, how about Schultz already with a fumble recovery? Fred Perry has done it all at that defensive end, and a good linebacking crew. Maurice Lloyd, a little banged up today. Wonder how long he'll last. And a secondary, Eddie Davis. He really is the glue that holds that secondary together.
That might be the big question for this Saskatchewan defense. How long can some of these banged-up players like Maurice Lloyd stay in the football game? Ken Austin alluded to the fact that they may not last the quarter. Duncan O'Mahony punting today into the wind, and it holds up and takes a left turn at the 50 and out of bounds. There is a flag down, just a 19-yard punt into the wind by O'Mahony, who is playing in place of the injured Burke Dales, who has a cyst on his knee and cannot take part today.
Mark, you mentioned the fact that you know we have a banged-up team, and when you're talking about Saskatchewan, but when you're in here, adrenaline takes over. And when you're playing this big of a game, as you mentioned, the first playoff game in 19 years, you do not want to come out of this ball game. So, I mean, you basically got to be carried off to leave this field.
So we'll keep our eyes on the likes of Maurice Lloyd, Kitwana Jones, Lance Frazier, and Chunky Adams, who missed last week with a knee injury.
Legal block, hands to the face, Calgary number 27, holding Saskatchewan number 4. Both penalties balance out. It'll be first down Saskatchewan at the point possession game.
So the Riders have made swift work with the wind at their back. We mentioned it's gusting over 60 kilometers per hour this afternoon. Joseph with a 62-yard touchdown pass on the opening play on offense to DJ Flick. His first playoff touchdown in only his second playoff appearance. And a delay on the field. Kanji with a 47-yard field goal off the turnover, a 10-0 lead. Last week, a big wind here, and Toronto made quick work of the wind, jumping out to a 17-0 lead on these Riders, who suffered their first loss in the final 6 games of the season.
You know, it's interesting when you look at that, and the fact is the last 2 times that Saskatchewan went to the Cup, the last game of the season, they've been beaten badly. So they're looking at saying, you know what, that's a stat we kind of like.
Correction on the play. The 2 fouls occurred before possession game. The legal block, hands to face against Calgary 27, and the holding 19 Saskatchewan. Those fouls will be applied at point of last scrimmage.
So they're going to have to do this all over again, and O'Mahony will get a second chance to punt into this wind. I'm sure he's relishing that. He had a 19-yard punt on his last offering, and he came into this football game with a 42.3-yard average.
And one of the biggest things, if you're a Stampeder, is that you want to at least get something positive offensively when you're going against this wind. You don't want to be behind the 8 ball so much when this quarter ends and you start getting the wind. And last week we saw evidence of that as Toronto built up a 17-0 lead against these, well, at that time, a lifeless group of Saskatchewan players. It looked like they were waiting for this game, and they weren't. Their heads were definitely not in last week's game.
Ken Austin told us yesterday that his team plays its best when it comes out of the gate quickly, when everybody's playing, hitting their assignments. There's no busted routes or coverages. And they did come right out of the chute at full tilt today with that big bomb from Kerry Joseph to DJ Flick.
I just love it because it's do or die. One team goes on, another one gets the garbage bags and packs up their equipment tomorrow.
Corey Holmes, Saskatchewan's favorite son, is alone at his 42. O'Mahony, second go around, gets a little higher punt, angling it to the near sideline. And it bounces at the 50 on the first hop. Holmes has it. It's a 19-yard punt again, second time around, and a 5-yard return for Saskatchewan.
Welcome back to Regina. The Riders lead the Stamps 10-0 here, and it is a very windy day. Earlier, the wind was going 50, gusting up to 80. It's calmed down a little bit, but still gusting up to 70 kilometers per hour, and it's kind of going across the field. So it's basically just going screen left to right as you watch the football game, and it's making it very difficult for the kickers, but also for the passing game. And they're aware of that, and it's going to make a big deal, especially on those kicks. Mark?
Good thing Mark's loaded up on that hair gel this afternoon. Could be Cow Lick City here on the prairies. A wind-swept prairie this afternoon, and Kerry Joseph, a strong-arm quarterback, has the wind at his back here today against this Calgary secondary, which has been lit up by the pass this season. Play action, rolling to the short side is Joseph, throwing with authority. Wide open is Andy Fantouz, and Fantouz will head downfield for 10 more. The breakout player in 2007, the sophomore Andy Fantouz.
Again, it's a nice job of running, misdirection, play action. It allows Kerry to get to the outside again, buys us some extra time. You gotta love the way they're running. Palmer clears deep, and Fantouz just finds the hole behind Carpenter. And nice job of getting the catch and picking up extra yards.
30 yards on the play to Fantouz, who fell just 22 yards shy of 1,000 here in his second CFL season. First down for Kerry Joseph and the Roughriders. Straight back to pass, throwing down the sideline and incomplete. Yo Murphy was wide open, but the ball hits the turf.
Well, big break right there as the ball's definitely overthrown. You can see that Kerry does not like that. It's his fault. Tate George and Williams getting the start at end. Patrick and the new guy, Marcus Parker, played last week, had a big game against BC, but the big one, Scott Coe playing in place of a healthy scratch. Brian Clark surprised a little bit. And Carpenter safety, Clemens and Browner, they are pretty good corners, Mark.
Yes, and Karan Williams, as you mentioned, forced into action with a broken hand. With the injury, the broken leg suffered by Anthony Gargiulo last week in BC. Second down, pressure, and they've got him. It's Julian Battle, the rookie out of Tennessee, who wraps up the Rider quarterback.
Mark, we watched last game, we did the game, we watched the film on the Toronto game against Saskatchewan. They did a great job of blitzing the Saskatchewan offense with Kerry Joseph at controls. You know what? As a defense, Tim Burke's going to say to his fellows, you know what, we're going to take a page out of the Argonauts and start bringing some guys from the outside. And that's exactly what they do. They bring Julian Battle. Result is a sack.
This Calgary defense had 7 sacks last week against BC and their vaunted offensive line. Kanji now from the 49-yard line, 1 yard shy of his longest this year. With the wind, Kanji strikes the ball up and good. Kanji 2 for 2 from long range this afternoon. You know, he lost that West All-Star nomination this week in the recount that gave it to his counterpart Sandro DeAngelis, but what a class act as he said, hey, everybody can make a mistake. A reminder, self-teeing golf balls, a luggage tag that finds lost baggage, a Montreal gold rush. Only the Dragons decide what flies and what dies. Join them in the den with an all-new Dragons Den, Monday at 8 on CBC. Burris, play action now, rolling wide side out of the backfield. Nowhere to go there is Rob Cote, the rookie Canadian out of the Victoria Rebels junior football team, is tracked down right away by Sean Lucas, who's subbing for TJ Stansel.
Well, running a little bit of a bunch formation over here, and they're just going to run 26 Cote, who's a good receiver out of the backfield. Does a nice job, but equal to the challenge, Sean Lucas, who does a nice job of getting out there and picking up his responsibility.
Lucas, a sophomore out of Tulane University, with a big tackle to hold that gain to just 3. 2nd and 7, and it's hard to hear yourself think. It's capacity crowd with those thunder sticks. Burris loading up. A comeback route on the far side to Brett Ralph, and he's got the catch right near the first down marker at the Calgary 45-yard line. Brett Ralph, who had a career season, and this his third year in the CFL out of the University of Alberta.
Well, 53 catches, almost 700 yards. I mean, at a spot that a lot of people just use as a decoy, just run him up and down the field. It's nice to see the Canadian wide receivers, much like Andre Talbot in Toronto, really having outstanding years.
Yeah, going into the last week of the season, 4 Canadian receivers led their teams through the air. Gerald Kamashong is in now on 1st and 10. Burris throwing a seam route complete to Jermaine Copeland. And Copeland will hold on for the first down. He has become what Tom Higgins says is a very highly regarded leader on this football team this year.
Well, he's matured, and that's the biggest thing. I mean, basically just going to sit back. He gets good protection. And all Copeland does is just run away from the linebacker, find a hole in the middle of the seam, and there it is. The ball's delivered. Now, Burris has a great arm. And against the wind, that's more effective for him as we take a look at what Copeland's done. Tell you what, 3 catches, 111 yards in that big win.
And Chris, that was the only time this season that Copeland crashed the 100-yard mark receiving in a game. And he's got a big one, a 20-yard gain on his first catch here in the West Division semifinal. Into Regina territory. In the gun formation now, 5 receivers downfield. Burris looking, can't find someone open, now scrambling. And it's incomplete, but a flag is thrown near the incompletion attempted at Ryan Thelwell. Burris thinks that flag should go against Saskatchewan.
Well, I think he's got a point on that play, and it definitely will be a little bit of a legal contact, pass interference down the field at about the 26-yard line.
Legal contact and receiver. Saskatchewan, number 19. 10-yard penalty. First down.
It's against the Western All-Star at the shutdown corner, James Johnson.
Well, Mark, James Johnson had his eyes open last week against Andre Talbot, who beat him for a big touchdown, and I know that he wanted to play a lot better. He pushes Brett Ralph out. A lot of contact down that field.
10-yard penalty. 1st and 10 now at the 35. Stamps still marching. Play action again. Burris pumps, threatens the line of scrimmage, and Reggie Hunt is there to wrap him up with some help from John Chick, the rookie at defensive end.
Well, they were expecting big things for number 9, Reggie Hunt. We have not called his name lately. Last week, he was basically invisible. They basically laid down the challenge to him and said, look, you're an all-star, play like an all-star. We expect big things out of him, and I expect Reggie Hunt to play with a passion today.
The 7th play of the drive. You mentioned Hunt. Yes, he is a player who needs to up his game in this organization. 7th play of the drive for Calgary, into the wind. Movement on the line of scrimmage as they bring the blitz. And it's a completion. Nick Lewis has his first catch of the game. And very close to another first down. But there are flags down. There was all kinds of movement, it seemed, on the Riders' side of the line of scrimmage before the ball was snapped.
As they're marking it, they're talking to the captains of Calgary.
Ken Lazarick will call for a measurement.
Interesting that they threw the flag and picked it up, and no explanation given on that play.
Yeah, they're going to measure the football right now, and you can see Ken Lazarick was giving Henry Burris an indication of what their choice might be once they assess this flag.
Yeah, how close they are to a first down and how much they'd need to pick up a first down. That would make his decision a little easier. And you know, Mark, that's interesting because the official usually doesn't do that. Usually you have to make a decision. That's a luxury when they'll bring out the chains and measure the football for you.
Offside, Saskatchewan, number 41. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
So it'll be 2nd down and 4 as opposed to 3rd and 1. As Fred Perry, the leading tackler on this Rider defense, takes his stance against Burris and this drive into Saskatchewan territory into the wind. 2nd and 4. 4 receivers wide side. Burris dumping the pass on a crossing route. It's complete to Kenyon Rambo. And Rambo is wrapped up, but he'll have the first down.
And one of the things that Burris is doing really nice out there is he's changing up the snap count, and that affects the blitz. Anytime Saskatchewan wants to put some pressure on them, they're trying to time it up. But the fact that Burris changes the snap count forces not only Saskatchewan to show early what they're going to try to do, but also allows Burris to get back quickly and find a receiver.
On this drive, Burris has used all three of his big receivers, Kenyon Rambo, Nick Lewis, and Jermaine Copeland. And he's eating up precious time into the wind. A hitch pass. Nick Lewis with a move and a deke across the 15. And he's knocked down quickly. Maurice Lloyd in on the tackle. Lloyd playing with an abdominal injury that has kept him out of practice all week. He's one of those banged up Rider defenders to keep an eye on today as this war of attrition continues.
Well, he's banged up, but he sure shows no effects of that as he comes across right now and brings down a very hard guy to bring down the open field, Nick Lewis. Nice job of coming from that MAC position all the way across to bring down Lewis.
Remember last year he really introduced himself at playoff time in the West semifinal with some hellacious hits against the Stampeders in McMahon Stadium. We'll take a break here at Taylor Field with a Stampeder injured player. Brent Ralph was the injured Stampeder, and it appears he lost a contact lens on the last play. Yep, there he is, putting it back on the Calgary bench. Marcus Howell has come in for him.
Well, it's interesting that he's very fortunate that it's only the watch him roll. I mean, they roll up on the back of Brent Ralph's leg, so if that's all he lost with the contact lens, very fortunate.
10th play of the Stampeder drive coming. 2nd and 5. At the 14 of Saskatchewan. Burris straight back in the shotgun, throwing in the end zone. It's nearly intercepted. It is. Eddie Davis picks it off. The second turnover of the game committed by Henry Burris. And Eddie Davis in his 14th playoff game. The ranking veteran has a big turnover.
Well, you hit it on the head. He is the leader, the secondary, the communicator. Lets everybody know to make sure they're in the proper coverage. Just does a nice job of staying with the receiver. You see him breaking in. Now, here he is right there. Now, watch him break on the ball. Henry has got to lead his receiver a little bit more inside to the post. The fact that he dropped that ball a little behind him allowed Eddie Davis to break on that ball, come up with the interception.
Eddie Davis, who missed 9 games with a dislocated right shoulder, came back to this team late in the season, and he gives what Richie Hall calls added confidence in that secondary. A big play in the flats now. Corey Holmes with some speed. First down.
And Mark, that's exactly what you want to do. After you get a turnover, you want to do something positive. It's like slapping your opponent in the face.
Holmes with that great ability out of the backfield, replacing Wes Cates today.
Just a little slide out there, and he gets to the outside. Once he gets out there, he's got that punt return ability in open field. Picks up a nice first down.
Came back to his team August 19th in that trade with Hamilton. In the flats now, Yo Murphy, the big veteran and good friend of Kerry Joseph, has his first catch of the afternoon. He has hamstring problems, and he only practiced once this week, Chris.
Only one time, but he's such a student of the game. Yo Murphy has a great relationship. You say they hang out all the time. They talk, him and Joseph. It's very vital to have a guy of his ability playing today.
2nd and 4. Joseph standing in the pocket. Now he's flushed. He'll run for another first down across midfield. The leading rusher among quarterbacks in the CFL with 737 on the ground this year has a big first down.
And how do you tell how bad your team wants it? Watch the quarterback. There's no hook slide here. It is 100 miles an hour straight forward. And God forbid you get in my way. Love to see that out of your quarterback.
Joseph can beat you with his legs and with that big gun of his. And he's got a carry of 19 for the first down across midfield to the 54 of Calgary. As they waggle to the wide side, Joseph looking that way. A comeback curl. It's complete to DJ Flick. And the touchdown machine has a catch of close to 10 yards. The only Rider receiver over 1,000 this year at 1,020.
And timing is so impeccable here. The fact that it's a quick hitter. Boom, he's just going to run. He's going to stop, come back to the football, and the ball is delivered. And the fact that the ball is delivered so quickly does not allow the defender to come in and try and disrupt that. So nice job of Kerry Joseph to make quick decisions on the field as we take a look at DJ Flick, and he has beat the comeback player of the year in my eyes.
His biggest games against the Stampeders this year. Look at that, a 3-game total of 347 yards and an average catch of 19 yards. The gain on that play by DJ Flick is 9. It'll be 2nd and 1 for the most counted on receiver in this receiving core for Saskatchewan. The loss of Dominguez and Cates with the double tight end formation on 2nd and less than a 1. And it'll be a first down on the quarterback keeper by Kerry Joseph. A reminder, next Sunday, the CFL on CBC. The Grey Cup playoffs continue with the East Division final beginning at 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 in the morning Pacific time. And then right after that, out in BC, the West final at 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific time. Wally Buono and the Lions watching closely here today to see who will advance on this semifinal Sunday. Scott Coe, the middle linebacker, looks in. On first down, Joseph throwing deep downfield for Fantuz. Oh, it's incomplete. Julian Battle in coverage at the halfback position. Did he get his hand on it at the last minute?
I think he got his hand on Mark, and I tell you what, he just looked up to the stars and said, thank you, I owe you one, because Fantuz is wide open behind him. 83 is going to come into your screen. He's just running a streak pattern down the thing, just breaks it out, and then he comes back in. As he comes in, you can see he's got Battle beat, but Battle, good presence to put the hand up and deflects that ball.
Battle, who got his starting job 5 weeks ago when this Calgary defense went from a 3-4 to a 4-3 the week they sacked their defensive coordinator, Denny Crehan. Here comes the Calgary blitz. They bring the house. Joseph in trouble and just flicks it away up into row 1.
Yeah, nice job on that, because I believe the Stampeders are going to be offside. They tried to bring the house, a blitz from both sides. I believe they're a little overzealous in their attempt to try and get to Kerry Joseph, but now they're going to call one of his offensive linemen for procedure. Big break for the Stamps.
A heads-up move by Joseph, and Austin is a little upset on the sidelines.
Well, especially after you're moving the ball. Big play by the interception by Davis. You got 5-6 plays put together. You're moving. You're getting something in your scoring territory, and then you take a penalty you shouldn't take.
Outside, Saskatchewan number 2, declined. 3rd down.
Especially after missing what looked like a sure touchdown strike with Fantuz open deep. And so the 3rd field goal attempt of the game for Luka Kanji. And it will be spotted at the 50-yard line. He's been good today from 48, we'll call it 48 now, and 49. And now to match his longest of the season from 50 yards out. Straight down the field. Kanji has it up and wide. Wide left. Marcus Howell will return the wide field goal out. Big block there on James Johnson, and a hurdling Marcus Howell is tracked down at the 23-yard line. Scott Coe throwing that big block to get him out of the end zone.
Well, big block to get him out of the end zone, but how about Neil Hughes with what I consider a touchdown-saving tackle? Let's take a look at that. Hold by Fantuz. Laces pointed toward the goal post. He tries to put everything into it. Like a golfer, Mark. Head on the ball, not on where you're trying to kick it. He just shanks that a little bit to the left. As you say, 56 at the bottom. Great block to spring Howell, but watch 32. Neil Hughes not allowing him to get to the outside where he could have put further damage on that cover team.
There's Regina's Neil Hughes in place of Chris Starkin, who can't play because of those injured fingers. And the Stamps dodge a bullet, not giving up any points on that turnover. Burris downfield to a wide open Kenyon Rambo, and Scott Gordon will chip him out of bounds. Kenyon Rambo, who was benched back in August when they had that revolving door at receiver, then won the job when the Stamps cut Mark Boerichter, has a gain of 38.
Well, I mean, this is the battle of the gunslingers right now. Watch him coming. He runs away from the coverage. That is Maurice Lloyd, the middle linebacker. We talked about he's playing with abdominal strain. He's having a hard time keeping. That's a mismatch right there. You can't cover a guy like Rambo. They get that matchup. It's going to be a tough day for him all game.
Rambo, with his speed, is a deep threat for these Stamps. On the ground, his play is whistled dead as Joffrey Reynolds takes the handoff and flags her down here at Mosaic Stadium.
Well, I tell you, after the first two series where we saw Burris fumble the ball and go 2 and out, he really is starting to find some form right now. He's looking very comfortable back there, and that's probably because of that man right there, offensive coordinator George Cortez, who just basically talks to him every time he comes to the side and says, cool down, we got lots of time yet.
5-yard penalty.
And this penalty plague Calgary outfit takes a procedure call here. They had 19 penalties last week against BC. They led the CFL in penalties this season. 231 calls against Calgary. Make it 1st and 15. Burris pumps, tries to run on the draw, can't get through. Now he'll throw. No, there's nowhere to go. And he's tackled again. Reggie Hunt with some help from John Chick at the defensive end position on the final play of the opening quarter here in Regina. The 13th man in full force, a capacity crowd, and a 13-0 lead. The Riders have enjoyed a banner year at the box office, their 7th consecutive sellout here at home for their first home playoff game since 1988. I was riding the elevator today at the hotel with Ryan Thelwell of the Stampeders, and he said, hey, we'll see you guys next week in Vancouver for the West Final. There were a couple of fans from Regina in the elevator, and they said, hey, why don't you two guys just say goodbye for the last time right here?
Oh, I love to hear that. You know, that you talked about it, the passion. I mean, everywhere we've gone, we've talked, it's just everybody's wearing green.
They've waited 19 years. Some of these young fans have never seen a playoff game before here on the prairies. And they've come with their thunder sticks to make some noise as we open this second quarter. The Stamps now with the win. They've coughed up 2 turnovers so far in this football game. And the play is whistled dead with Scott Gordon on the safety blitz.
Well, procedure against the Stampeders. Henry doesn't like the call. He believes they jumped on the outside. The defense.
Procedure. Calgary, number 50. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Got a moment here, Chris. Let's have a look at the first quarter statistics.
Well, I mean, obviously for Saskatchewan, what a way to start the game with a 62-yard bomb to DJ Flick on the very first play. But after 2 successive 2 and outs by the Stampeders, they march all the way down, almost get to the score zone and throw an interception, the second by the Stampeder offense in the first quarter.
Stamps showing 4 receivers wide side for the first time this afternoon. Burris loads up and throws that way. It's too high and incomplete. Kenyon Rambo runs into a cameraman as he goes out of bounds. And he'll pull up his socks and looks like he's no worse for wear on that play. The cameraman puts himself back together too. He's all right. Got Clayton there to help out and make sure.
Well, nice job of trying to find something. It's just one-on-one to the outside. Good protection. Burris just steps in away from the pressure. He's got the right target. He just puts a little bit too much on it. And that's what happens when you're throwing with the wind. The wind will sometimes make your ball sail a little bit.
So it's 3rd and 20. And Duncan O'Mahony will punt it away to Corey Holmes. O'Mahony, a nice spiral with the wind, angling it to the far sideline, and he gets a good bounce deep to the goal line, to the 2-yard line. Holmes will pick it up, draw a flag, and scoot out of bounds. A 60-yard punt with the wind, and no yards will be the call against the Stampeders. Well, the Stamps and that 60-yard boot by O'Mahony has tilted the field position in Calgary's favor as Kerry Joseph and the Riders begin this series, their deepest start, their own 7 against the Wind. Now the umpire will get into position and we're ready to go. First down at the 7. Joseph, play action. Stamps reading that one and nowhere to go, as Terrence Patrick was the first to make contact at that defensive tackle position. He's normally an end in that 3-4 front we saw earlier this year, but has been really strong moving inside in the 4-3.
Well, most definitely, and he gets penetration. Anytime you want to run a play action and try to get to the outside, you must block the point of attack, and nobody takes, and that's a little bit of a face mask right there. So he grabs the top of the helmet. Got away with one right there.
Loss of 1 on the play. 2nd and 11 in the end zone. It's a screen pass to Corey Holmes, and Holmes is on his horse. First down, Saskatchewan.
Oh, what a great call. You just gotta love this when you know that you're 2nd and long and you know that they're going to bring the blitz package. The best way to defeat it is to run the screen pass. Everybody's coming upside, let them through, perfect timing, get the 2 big guys. Omani out there, Abu Mekrik, nice job.
Gain of 17 on the screen to Holmes. Joseph 60% through the air for 136 and a touchdown so far. Handoff to Holmes. He's hit immediately at the line of scrimmage, and he'll have a gain of maybe 1 on the play. Tay George in on the tackle for Calgary. Holmes coming back to the fold this year, returned in the trade from Hamilton. We take you back a couple of years to his last playoff game with the green and white, played at the Big O, and he was one of their biggest forces. 2005, the most outstanding player in the CFL, leading the league in combined yards with 3,455. Joseph out of the backfield again to Holmes. He's got some blocks and an entourage upfield. Another first down. Well, Scott Coe made the tackle. He's slow to get up, Chris.
Well, they ran it play successfully to the right side. Why not bring it back again and run it to the wide side of the field? Corey Holmes coming off the field. We know he had a bit of a shoulder injury. We're just hoping right now he's a little bit tuckered out, but a great call again. Let the defense up. They bring it, release. Wayne Smith gets out there. He's got to get the lead block. Look at Fantuz down the field blocking a Trey Young. It's all about doing every little bit to help the play succeed.
A gain of 21 yards, and they're digging their way out of their own end. The Riders with another first down. 5-man Calgary rush, and the ball is loose. It is whistled incomplete, and that's the 3rd time in this first half that Calgary has put pressure on Joseph and forced an incompletion.
Well, the nice thing about the pressure here is you can really be successful defensively if you can get pressure with just your front 4. And that is all they have right there is 4 guys coming, running a little bit of a stunt. They just basically outwork the offensive line of the Roughriders to put pressure on Kerry Joseph. See Tay George coming around. A little bit of a tackle and loop stunt, and it works perfectly.
Oh, that was close to being a fumble. The 3rd time they have batted the ball out of Joseph's hands. 2nd down, Joseph standing in the pocket, throwing an arrow into the wind, and it's complete to Fantuz, who won't go down easily. Andy Fantuz, and another Rider first down.
Well, and you gotta love the courage, and I say courage about Andy Fantuz because he's got to go up and get this ball. He's a tall figure at 6'4", but he's got to go up, and anytime you stretch up, you leave your ribs exposed. Watch as he goes up for this football. He knows he could get popped, but you know what? The good receivers, hey, they sacrifice for the big plays.
Fantuz with a CFL high this year, 240 yards receiving in one game against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. His gain is 19 on that play. This one is whistled down again at the snap.
We listen to the call. It's a procedure call, but the interesting thing, Mark, is they started this drive at their own
procedure.
7.
Saskatchewan, number 60, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Big Gene Mikowski, the veteran of that offensive line, 13 years out of the University of Saskatchewan. In his 11th playoff game this afternoon. And he's just going to be at the top. Just going to jump a little bit. See him just leaving. He tries to kind of pretend he didn't do it. Hopes nobody caught. Those are the ones you hope nobody noticed, but officials right on the spot there.
With the 5-yard penalty, 1st and 15. Joseph with 4 to the wide side, stepping up into the rush. He'll run. Look at the big quarterback. Make a move. And he'll get across the 40 where Julian Battle makes the tackle. A gain of 11 on that 1st or 2nd and 15 situation.
And Mark, as we see Scott Coe go down again. Remember, Scott Coe is in. Brian Clark, healthy scratch, got caught in the number game, the import Canadian rules. Couldn't dress him, but here's my problem with this. If Scott Coe can't play because he has been injured, had a bad knee, play with a broken hand, now you got to bring a raw rookie in. Neil Ternavotsky's got to come in and he's got to play. Now that's a rookie. Take a look at the knee right here, guys. As he pops down, that knee just pops right out. He goes down. He actually came back in this ball game, and right here, watch it go again. It just falls down. That's it. That was the last we saw for 3 weeks of Scott Coe, but to his credit, he's back, but he is not 100%.
What you're saying then is he might be hurt, but don't write him off. The way he's played this year.
Well, that's right, but I'm also saying the fact is if he goes out, you got to put a rookie in that spot.
Neil Ternavotsky, the rookie out of the University of Alberta, there he is, into the lineup for Scott Coe. And the controversy this week with the Stampeders coming here to Regina without their 10-year veteran, their leader on defense, Brian Clark, at home watching this as Coe is taken off the field. Scott Coe is injured. We're not sure how serious it is. Let's take a look how it may have happened.
Well, we talked about the fact that his knee is giving him a problem. Run a little bit, guys. He's right behind the goalpost. Now watch as he drops back. There he is right here, guys. Now he's just going to stop. Watch as he comes back in now. He's not making contact. Here he is again. He's not making contact, but watch the knee just give way again, and he just goes right down. He has unstable knee joint, and that's going to cause him more problems.
Pat Clayton, the Stampeder trainer, has left for the locker room, perhaps looking for a knee brace. Faking the flat pass, Kerry Joseph running again, and look at the moves he's playing on this Stampeder defense. He's hit just shy of the 35-yard line, needed 4 yards for a first down.
And the difference between a regular season game and a playoff game is paramount when you see what the quarterbacks do. There is nobody downfield. He takes a look, he's going to do a little hitch pass over to Holmes, decides to pull it down. Now look at this, watch the determination. Again, we talked about not going down, not sliding, but rather leading with the shoulder pads, getting down in that running back position. Gotta love the effort.
What a leader. And he'll be just shy of the first down. It'll be 3rd and less than a yard for Kent Austin and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They'll go for it at the 36-yard line. The flag is down before they get the play off.
Maybe too many players on.
The head linesman, Don Cousins, throwing the flag. It's going against Saskatchewan. That's the indication.
Well, that was interesting because as the clock was going down, he hadn't even snapped the ball yet, so I don't know where the procedure was.
Saskatchewan, number 54, moving the ball ahead. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
One of the oldest tricks in the book, Mark. What you do on short yardage or a 3rd down gamble is you try and get your center just at the last second to inch the ball up a little bit, and just that little hitch, because remember, the defensive linemen are trained to move when the ball moves. He gets caught with that. Procedure call. Nice call by the official. Moves him back.
And now Jamie Borum will have to punt for the first time, and he'll do it against the wind. So the Riders go from being in a scoring position to having to turn the ball back over to the Stampeders. Marcus Howell is awaiting his first punt return. Remember, he took one back 96 yards against this Saskatchewan team earlier this year, and he returned 193 yards for a touchdown last year in the West semifinal. But he won't get his hands on this kick as it goes out of bounds at the 13-yard line with flags all over the field.
Well, again, this is turning into a bit of a flag fest as we see a beautiful punt by Jeremy Borum. It puts it inside the 20, 27-yarder, but it basically negates any opportunity for Howell to return it. It looks like it's going to go against Saskatchewan again, the least penalized team this year, being guilty of the last 2 infractions.
Yes, they led the league in that category.
Procedure, Saskatchewan, only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. It's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat, third down.
Well, that's a formation penalty. You always got to have 7 men on the line of scrimmage. That might be a receiver, might be a slot back, but it's definitely your 5 starting offensive linemen and 2 other people, especially in a punt position. Your punt team has to have at least 7 on the line of scrimmage.
So Borum will have to punt again. Too bad he had the Stamps pinned at their 13-yard line. Borum with a better punt this time. But Howell gets his hands on it at the 10. Surrounded. Dustin Ternosky is downfield along with Tristan Clovis to make the tackle. A 36-yard punt and just a 5-yard return. Warrior of the game, we want you to log on to cbcsports.ca during the second half to vote for the player who you think showed the heart and determination of a warrior. Warrior of the game is brought to you by the all-new 2007 GMC Sierra. Professional grade. Well, the Stamps will start at their 15. Not much better. 5.5 minutes taken off the clock by that Rider drive into the wind for Burris now. Back to pass. Throwing wide side. Too high. Intended for Brent Ralph as the ball continues to sail on these strong-arm quarterbacks with the wind.
Well, we talking to the quarterbacks yesterday. Much prefer throwing into the wind. That might surprise you, but they say they can throw the ball with a lot more steam into the wind and not have to worry about the ball sailing. That's a second pass in a row that Henry Burris has basically just overthrown the receiver.
Henry Burris leading the CFL this year in passer efficiency, a 102 rating. As the wind begins to subside a little here, Burris having to go right up to his offensive lineman to check this call at the line of scrimmage. It's deafening here at Mosaic Stadium. Second down. Rider blitz. Burris the ball away and dropped. Jermaine Copeland could not hang on. Says my bad.
Well, that may be your bad, or whatever you want to call it, your mistake. The fact is, you, as one of the leaders, as one of the offensive captains, have to lead by example, and Jermaine Copeland must come up with this catch. You can ill afford to put these balls, especially when you've overthrown the intended receiver. That was perfectly thrown right in the hands. Jermaine Copeland has got to come up with that catch.
So the Stampeders in this high-octane offense puttering there, and O'Mahony's on his own goal line. Gets it away, a spiral line drive that forces Holmes back to his 46. Corey Holmes will go down quickly at the 50 for a return of just 3 yards on a 48-yard punt. Joseph back at work when we come back.
Back in Regina, where this crowd of 28,800 is certainly hitting above their weight as far as noise is concerned, with their team up 13-0. We've been measuring the decibels here in the stadium. They hit 101 on that last drive. They were up to 106 on that first touchdown. And by the way, Mark, Scott Coe is back in the game. He had a hip pointer, took some pain medication, and he's right in there now.
Thank you, Mark. On first down, the handoff is to Josh Ronick, and Ronick on his first carry bulldozes his way and shows some of his fleet feet, and he's got a first down. Just his second game of the season since being called as an emergency call-up 1 week ago from South Dakota, where he was at home and had given up on his CFL career.
Well, this is a play that's just perfectly designed for Josh Ronick. He's one of the best north-south runners. Just finds a little opening, and as you say, the guy that got the nickname, the little ball I hate, does a nice job of busting through there.
Ronick was cut by the Eskimos in training camp after suffering a hamstring injury. Stopped training 9 weeks into the season because nobody called, and he gets his number called again. Look at him work as he thrusts his way to 40-yard line. He'll have a gain of 4.
And remember, Josh Ronick has a relationship with not only Kerry Joseph, but also with Ken Austin in Ottawa. And in 03, 04, and 05, he was an all-star. In those 3 years, 28 touchdowns. I mean, he can get it done, and he's just happy to be 100% and being able to contribute. And says, I just feel like I've had a rebirth of sorts. My career has been resurrected.
Not only that, he's healthy and he's fresh in the late season. Joseph fakes the flat pass, looking for the draw, head down, and Neil Chernovatsky, who's subbing for Scott Coe, is the first to make contact there. And the gain will be 3. 3rd down and a little over 2. Field goal situation.
Well, the interesting thing about Chernovatsky is that he will come in on 2nd down and long situations. He's got more mobility. He's a better cover guy than Scott Coe, and he's obviously a lot healthier. Does a nice job on that quarterback keeper by Joseph.
Luka Kanji good on 2 of 3 field goal attempts with the win from 48 and 49. He missed wide left from 50. And this will be tough. Coming from the 45-44, they'll spot it. Into the wind. He had trouble hitting from 30. It's a fake. Josh Roddick on the pitch. Head down. And it looks like he might have the first down. I was wondering because Kanji couldn't hit from 30 into the wind in the warm-ups.
Well, here's the interesting thing. Opposing special team coaches watch the other kickers in warm-up before the game, and especially their range into and with the wind. We know that he could only hit about 30 yards into the wind. You would think that as soon as you saw him lining up for a 44-yarder, I'm yelling, fake, watch the fake. They got fooled.
Fantuz executing the fake and the pitch perfectly to Ronick, and Ronick has the first down. But he was injured on that play and limped off to the Riders sideline. This team has just been riddled with injuries. Ivan Gutfriend, the trainer now, attending to Josh Ronick. Ronick, of course, into the lineup with the injury to Wes Cates. He and Corey Holmes sharing tailback responsibilities for Ken Austin and this Saskatchewan offense.
And remember that he is the only back besides Corey Holm. Last week they had dressed Henri Childs. He is not dressed today. So the only other back that you basically have is Neil Hughes, the fullback.
So they're thin in the backfield. Holmes back in. The lone back. 5 receivers waggling for Saskatchewan. Play action now. Joseph rolling. He can run, and he will. Wide open for Joseph, directing traffic, and he'll step out of bounds at the 11 with a huge first down. 22-yard carry.
Predetermined play, pre-called by Kerry Joseph, and it all works because Andy Fantuz does a nice job of sealing. Watch as he goes to the inside, and all he has to do is push. And he pushes Williams inside and gets to the outside, and as a result it allows Joseph to get some room, and then it becomes a foot race, and the big quarterback, part-time running back, makes the Stampeder defense pay.
Joseph with 6 carries and 55 yards to lead all rushers so far in the half. First down at the 11 in the flats to Holmes. Holmes is hit hard in the backfield. And an injured Stampeder, it's Brandon Browner, who made the hit, and now he's down on one knee. So that's the second defender for the Stampeders who has been shaken up in this first half.
But what a tackle by Brandon Browner, because he is out in open space against one of the more elusive running backs in the CFL. It's just one-on-one. Has a nice job of going low and taking the wheels out from under Corey Holmes.
He got Holmes about a yard behind the line of scrimmage, and Holmes may have stumbled back to the original line of scrimmage. They'll mark it 2nd and 10 at the 11. The Riders for the first time into the score zone of the Stampeders. Joseph with time, throwing to the end zone, incomplete and deflected. Intercepted on the play. It's Dwayne Carpenter on the deflection, bringing the ball back down the sideline. Joseph tries to make the tackle. Here comes Corey Grant, a pitch out, and they're still coming. It's Trey Young, tight roping the sideline. Touchdown. What a play.
Wow, unbelievable. What I thought was a sure touchdown as the pass bounced off Andy Fantuz inside the goal line right into Dwayne Carpenter's hands. And then it became a foot race, and what presence of mind by his teammate Trey Young to stay with him as he gets a lateral as Carpenter's almost tackled, and he takes it the rest of the way. Goes down, look at that. He goes down, tries to secure it. The usually reliable hands of Andy Fantuz fails him on that play. Bounces up right into Dwayne Carpenter, and watch the heads-up play here. Just as Kerry Joseph and Corey Grant try and bring him down, he laterals that ball to Trey Young.
You know, Dwayne Carpenter was disconsolate when he fell down in overtime against BC and gave up the tying touchdown to Paris Jackson. He dwelled on that for weeks, and now he's come back to make a huge play on the ricochet out of the hands of Fantuz.
Well, the first interception thrown by Kerry Joseph in the last 4 ball games, and what a big one it was.
113 yards on the interception and lateral return, co-shared by Dwayne Carpenter and Trey Young.
It's challenging that the ball was passed forward on the run back.
This is a great call. I mean, you have nothing to lose. Even if you're unsuccessful, it doesn't cost you a timeout. I think it's a great call right here. And they basically want to determine whether the ball was flipped forward as a pass rather than back. If it's back, it's legal. All you can see from that, it's behind. That's a legal little toss back. That was a great replay. I can't see this being overturned. Take a look at that. It's behind. It's a good call.
Perfect.
Officials are 100% on that one.
If this stands, and it looks like it should, it'll be the first career interception touchdown for Trey Young. And Kent Austin can't believe it. The ricochet and what looked like a touchdown opportunity and catch goes out of the hands of Fantuz into the hands of Carpenter, down the sidelines, 113 yards with Trey Young to the end zone. And now it's under review. Now, Chris, Ken Lazarick will go under the hood, but the CFL has changed its review process as Jim Daly, the senior advisor of officiating and football ops, is upstairs
After
to help
reviewing
out in the call.
play, the ball was lateraled backwards. The play stands as it is. Touchdown.
And for the first time, Jim Daly is in direct headset conversation with the referee, although the referee has the final call.
That's smart move in having Jim Daly here. I love that call. The fact is, I love the challenge because you got nothing to lose. You don't lose a timeout. Higgins, good move by you. The fact is, though, what hurts Ken Austin? They should have been up 20-0, and instead, Calgary's back in the game, probably 13-7 after the successful convert.
The point after is good, and the 3-minute warning has been given to the benches here in Regina. Trey Young caps a 113-yard thriller. Kerry Joseph and the Saskatchewan offense trying to shake off that huge play started by this man, Dwayne Carpenter. The pass into the hands of Fantuz, out right into the waiting hands of Dwayne Carpenter with his first ever career interception in the CFL. He brings it 74 yards down the sideline, combined on the lateral to Trey Young, another 39, and there it is, a grand total 113 yards. The interception returned for a touchdown, third longest all time in CFL playoff history.
Well, especially for a defense that is ranks number 7 in the league with only 13 interceptions coming in. None bigger, I would say, by far for this season, that one by Dwayne Carpenter.
Fantuz, who had some brilliant catches earlier in this half, also trying to get over that. He's just a sophomore in his second year, trying to get that out of his mind. Holmes, Corey Holmes, and Khalil Hill are back to return the kickoff from DeAngelis. And it will be Holmes at his 18-yard line. A quick move, and he breaks free, and that is caught from behind by Matt DeGroot, the rookie out of USC. Just a reminder, this week on the Hour, George Stroumboulopoulos interviews Richard Branson, Alan Alda, Chris Jericho, and CFL Commissioner Mark Cohan. This is the place, this is the Hour, weeknights at 11 on CBC. So Saskatchewan back on the football field after that shocking interception returned for a touchdown. Joseph faking the handoff under pressure, gets it away nicely, and it's Neil Hughes. And Hughes with his first big play of the game. Look at him go. First down.
Mark, never overlook the fullback. He's basically a sixth offensive lineman. He's basically lead blocker for your running back. But what a call. Just slide him out the opposite way. He's just going to come back and release out to the flat. Nobody picks him up because nobody expects him to get the ball. Nice job of getting the catch and also making something up after he grabs him.
Neil Hughes with his first catch of the game for 21 yards. That's only his third catch all year. More yards in that play than he had in his previous 2 during the regular season. The give is to Corey Holmes as Joseph sells his rollout on first down, and the gain will be 3.
And Mark, one of the things that happens when you utilize your other players like a Neil Hughes is now when you release him in a flat, the defense has to respect them. They can't cheat. And that means take away maybe somebody like a Ronick or a Holmes and double him because you don't figure they're going to utilize Hughes. By the fact that you go to Hughes, it forces the defense to make him accountable.
2nd and 7. Hughes comes out of the game. 5 receiver set. The 6th in the backfield is Holmes. Here comes pressure. Joseph gets it away, and wide open on the sideline is Yo Murphy. And he's forced out of bounds by Brandon Browner. And they'll move the yardsticks again.
Just a nice job of Kerry Joseph getting the time he needs to wait for this play to develop. Good protection, sits back, looks from the middle, and doesn't just lock on to the intended receiver, and that allows Murphy a little space. You see the frustration showing by the way Browner slapped himself after that play.
Yo Murphy, one of the steady veterans working against that rookie corner on the boundary side. Browner. First down. Joseph bouncing in the pocket. There's Andy Fantuz, makes the catch, bounces off the tackle, still on his feet. Look at him go. He's still going. Fantuz working his way just shy of the 5.
Andy Fantuz is going to walk over to the bench and say, Ken Austin, do you still love me? Because after he couldn't secure the snag in the end zone that ended up in the big interception return by Dwayne Carpenter and Trey Young. Watch the effort of the young man right here, the former Heck Crichton winner in collegiate football in Canada. What an effort by number 83.
29 yards all the way to the 6-yard line. And the Riders are threatening again. Back in the red zone as Fantuz makes good for the drop that led to the pick. The handoff is to Holmes, and Holmes hits the hole hard and is driven back by Dwayne Carpenter.
That's an excellent job of your safety coming up. Dwayne Carpenter is playing tight to the box, anticipating the run, Mark, and he does a great job of coming in there, lowering the head and making a tackle on Corey Holmes.
Fans didn't like the way the Stampeder defense roughed Holmes. They just saw the replay. Let's have a look at it.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. And I'll tell you right now, as a defense, after you watch Andy Fantuz beat you up, you're going to make sure you secure the tackle.
2nd and goal from the 5 for Saskatchewan. Here's the pitch, and the option is dropped by Holmes. And he's on it quickly on the fumble pitch. And a loss of 4 yards on the play. And these Riders, again, are cursed by turnovers in the red zone.
Well, you look at the frustration. When you run the option, you've got to lead your back. That's a perfectly tossed ball. And I can't believe Corey Holmes has got some of the better hands coming out of the backfield. He basically just does not secure the ball. Maybe looking downfield where he wants to go, but he takes care of that football.
Of course, that wasn't a turnover as Holmes got right back on the fumble. Kanji now to attempt this field goal from the 16. Left hash mark, it's up and good. Kanji with his 3rd field goal of the game in the final minute here to increase the Rider lead by 9. Well, he's wired up at the best of times, and he's wired up for real today. Jermaine Copeland.
Mic'd Up, brought to you by Rogers, Canada's most reliable wireless network.
Let's go, D! I'm looking to run somewhere. Yeah, make it work, 88.
You know, last year he was criticized by Tom Higgins for overdoing the celebrations, right? He thought it was classless. This year, Higgins saying he's one of our mature leaders. And he's got a catch on that play and a first down from Burris. And they'll spot it at the 47-yard line. 48 seconds on the clock, and the Stamps go to their hurry up, fighting the adversity of this hostile crowd, trying to make it hard on Burris with all the noise. Clock running. Burris in the pocket under pressure and sacked. John Chick, the rookie, and help from Scotty Schultz, the Moose Jaw Stomper.
Now John Chick with his 5th sack in the last 5 games has really come on. He's going to be at the top of your screen. He's just going to keep working, keep working. And as Burris is forced back up inside the pocket, and that is a result of Adams and Schultz, Chick, the recipient of a nice sack there.
And Chick had 5 sacks in his rookie season. Loss of 4 on that play. Flags down on Burris. There were still 12 seconds on the play clock.
You know, there's one thing about going with a hurry-up offense. The fact is, you better make sure the rest of your team is on the same page as far as what you want to do. I'm a fan of getting in the huddle, try and fight through the crowd noise, but at least everybody's on the same page. If you have one mistake, it ends up costing you.
2nd and 15. You know, you look at field position and time of possession, 2 big factors in football. In terms of time of possession, into the wind this quarter, Saskatchewan has had the ball 11 minutes and 34 seconds. The Stamps have only had it for 2 minutes and 13 seconds with the wind.
Well, you know what, and when you look at the score, it's flattering to the Stampeders the fact that
Calgary, number 50.
that interception by Carpenter really gave them life. And that's the only points they got.
So they lose some more. It'll be 2nd and 19 now. 33 seconds left on the clock until the half as Scotty Gordon looks in through the visor. What's Burris got here? 2nd and long. 4 receivers wide. Burris looking that way, and he throws a dart and nearly intercepted. Lance Frazier jumped that one and had to go right through his hands in coverage against Jermaine Copeland.
Well, the interesting thing is, basically it's a streak or fly pattern by Copeland, but I don't even see him looking for the ball. Frazier's the only one that jumps this ball. I don't know, as a receiver, if Copeland thought he was the intended receiver, but again, when I look at it as a receiver, you should always think you're the intended receiver and always anticipate the ball. Watch him, he's not even looking back. He's still running downfield, and then he turns around, and the last thing he sees is, oh my God, Frazier might be going the other way.
That was close. O'Mani, a high punt, good hang time. It's out of bounds, and it's a penalty as it sails out through the air inside of the 20 by a good 22 yards inside the 20.
Well, they could take the ball there or force O'Mani to re-kick 10 yards back. But that's pretty good field position. I'd take it right there if I was Saskatchewan. It looks like that's what they're going to do.
Good call, Chris, because there's just 22 seconds on the clock. A 24-yard punt that went awry for Duncan O'Mani. Just a reminder, halftime coming up. At the half, Elliott and the panel will have their analysis of the first half and that thrilling East semifinal. And then we'll take it back in the day to 1966.
Legal punt out of bounds.
1956.
Calgary, number 2, decline. First down.
Tom Higgins' football team in this game because of that thrilling 113-yard touchdown interception return by Dwayne Carpenter and Trey Young. The only points they've been able to muster on that big defensive play. Here's Joseph with a deep drop, throwing into the wind, a beauty, and wide open is DJ Flick. He's downfield across the 35 to the 33-yard line with 15 seconds to go, and the Riders will use their timeout.
Well, I'm a little surprised that they're going to sit back in this kind of coverage. Why not just go man up and at least force them to beat you by sitting here and allow DJ Flick to find an opening in the hole right here in the coverage? I mean, this is an easy catch. There's no defender around him by 5 yards.
Third catch of the game for a total of 100 yards for DJ Flick, who's already got a touchdown on that opening play on offense.
Now take a look. Hold it, guys, right there. Take a look at this. Look at the opening that he has right here. There's nobody around. you've got to play tighter coverage, especially right now to end the half if you're a Stampeder fan or a player, because you want to go into the locker room with something positive.
Joseph good on 13 of 19 passes in this first half for 267 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 unfortunate interception. 1st and 10 at the 33. Joseph rolling wide side. Flick open. He goes deep for Fantus and overthrows him. 8 seconds on the clock.
Well, you have to love the aggressiveness shown by the Saskatchewan Roughrider offense. Not content to run the clock out, but let's put more points on the board. Let's put our foot on their throat.
Oh, and Kerry Joseph wincing because he had 2 men open on the play. Flick on the curl and Fantus deep on the corner and overthrew his sophomore receiver. So Luka Kanji will come into the game for his 5th field goal attempt of the half. He's 3 of 4, 2 from long range. This one into the wind from 40. Again, he's a good 10 yards too far from what he was able to accomplish in the warm-ups. But he'll try in nevertheless. Good leg. Good. Kanji into the wind from 40. And his 4th field goal of the opening half.
And Mark, when you talk about Luka Kanji, remember, he's the one that was awarded the All-Star for place kicking, and it was eventually overturned and given to Sandro of the Angeles of Calgary. But hey, is he making a statement here? 4 for 5, and that 40-yarder into a brisk win. He's having a heck of a game, Mr. Kanji is.
And DeAngelis has been shut out. He hasn't had a chance yet. Here it is again, Chris. Good leg, kept his head down like a golfer, and then looked up as it split the uprights. Will let the clock run out, and the gun will sound to end the opening half. This capacity crowd here in Regina saluting the Riders, holding Burris and the offense off the board, giving up the touchdown on the interception return and building a 19-7 lead. Here's Mark Connolly with Ken Austin.
Kent, you were 1 interception away from total domination in that first half. You had to be pretty pleased.
We missed an open touchdown, followed up by a missed field goal, and we dropped a touchdown down here. We had opportunity to have 14 more points for we to make the plays.
You had to be happy though that Andy Fantus came back with a pretty gutsy play.
Yeah, Andy was pretty upset, and our guys respond, and he's a good receiver, and that's what we expect from him.
Good. Best of luck in the second half.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Ken Austin, Mark.
Yes, and as the Rider coach said, it could have been ugly, but for that mishap in the end zone to Fantus. But Kanji's on his form, and so is Joseph with a big lead.
Well, that's Trooper warming up for the Grey Cup. They're playing here at halftime. They'll play at the Grey Cup in Toronto in a couple of weeks during the festival. It's been a good time for the Rider fans, but guys, certainly a sense that this should be much worse. Calgary's lucky to be where they are, and AJ, one of the reasons is they can't control Kerry Joseph when he rolls out.
Yeah, Kerry Joseph is doing a tremendous job on the play fake. He's riding the ball in the running back stomach all the way down the line, pulling it at the last second, getting outside and making things happen.
David, here's a look at what he's been doing.
It's not so much that the defensive end, they're just not doing proper fundamentals and covering that. They're getting too far downfield and allowing him to run outside.
Well, and the big question mark, David, is that the Calgary defense had to show up. Their secondary, very questionable, but I thought they were going to have a much better pressure package. They brought a lot of pressure in the first quarter, but then the Saskatchewan Roughriders adjusted, screen passes, swing passes. They got the ball out quickly. Play action is now working. So they are coaching this offense very well.
David, we talked hours ago in the pregame, seems like years ago, about Henry Burris and how Tom Higgins said he would determine who won this game. And the first half, it hasn't been good for Calgary.
It looks like he's trying to do too much too soon. He's not comfortable. I mean, it's okay to want to make big plays, but you got to roll with the game. You can't try to force it.
And the Saskatchewan Roughriders doing a good job keeping that offense off the field to get into any kind of rhythm. But he is aiming the ball, but some of his receivers, like Copeland, are not making the catches they need to make.
And it seems to me that Calgary's falling into the same routine that they have in the past few playoff games of giving the ball away and dropping the ball in key situations.
I don't like the idea that they've missed a lot of key opportunities. They've missed 2 touchdown opportunities, and Eric Tillman even said, hey, this is not a great thing to miss so many opportunities because they're going to leave an explosive team like Calgary to hang around in this game.
Exactly, because Luka Kanji, he's doing a fantastic job kicking 40-yard field goals, but Calgary is keeping them to field goals, which is a positive.
By the way, I'd like to send out an APB on Joffrey Reynolds. Where is he? You know, where is Joffrey Reynolds? Now, the other thing, and Chris Wallaby touched on this, AJ, Scott Coe is playing injured. Brian Clark is not here today, the middle linebacker for Calgary.
Yeah, and to me, that's a very questionable decision to sit a guy like Brian Clark at home when he's healthy and ready to play.
Coe, by the way, goes down here untouched.
Yeah, untouched. He's down on the ground. He's rotating in and out. And, you know, Calgary's defensive front is weak to begin with, and I think you really need a guy like Brian Clark in there to strengthen them and give them some leadership.
Last point, Greg.
When you lose that veteran leadership, you have to have somebody on there to be able to direct traffic. They're very young in that defense. They need somebody to be able to get them in the right spots.
You know, Brian Clark is not playing for racial reasons. The Calgary Stampeders needed a Canadian starter there, but you have to wonder if somewhere else in the lineup they could have found room to get Clark in this game. Luka Kanji, 13 points in the first half, a reason Saskatchewan's up.
Back in the day, a shift in time. Brought to you by Nissan, trucks and SUVs.
In 1956, 4 Roughriders were selected to represent the West in the annual CFL All-Star Game in Vancouver. Afterwards, though, tragedy struck when their airplane carrying them home crashed into Mount Slessy, just south of Chilliwack, BC. Gordon Sturtridge, Mel Beckett, Ray Cernick, and Mario DeMarco were the 4 players lost aboard Flight 810. An immediate search began, but the crash site was deemed too dangerous and it was called off. Sadly, there were no survivors and the mountain was declared a perpetual cemetery. The Roughriders honored their fallen teammates by retiring all 4 players' numbers. The cenotaph in Regina on Remembrance Day, and Jeff Pilon of the Calgary Stampeders wanted me to send wishes to his grandfather, Robert Graham Sutherland. He was a veteran in World War II. He always calls him on Remembrance Day and says, thank you. Today, he hasn't called yet. He asked us to do it publicly. Mr. Sutherland, thank you for your service.
Kerry Joseph has the Rider V8 hitting on all cylinders. The Stamps in search of some offense in this second half as we go to the sidelines. And here's Mark Connolly with Calgary coach Tom Higgins.
Well, Tom, if not for that interception return, you really would have been in trouble. But as it is, what do you got to do in the second half?
Well, real simple. First half started as badly as you could have a half start. You know, the one play touchdown, then we turned the football over. And so, obviously, hey, we had to win this turnover battle, get some first downs. We score a touchdown, we're right in the game. That's where we'd like to be.
Did you talk about adjustments there? I mean, is there something you have to change?
Yeah, it's just making sure that we secure the ball. We got to get in sync offensively. Shaky first quarter. But you know what? Again, we're hanging around, and that's a terrible thing in the CFL because anything's possible.
Best luck in the second half, Tom.
Thank you.
Tom Higgins. Mark?
Thank you, Mark. What Tom Higgins and the Stampeders need is some offense in this second half. Elliott asked about Joffrey Reynolds. He has 1 carry for 6 yards. But look at this stat, Chris. Without the wind, Calgary moved the ball 89 yards. With the wind, they moved it 7 yards. That's pathetic.
Well, I just think the big thing also is that when you're looking at Calgary, they've had one drive, 10+ plays. It ended with the Eddie Davis interception. That was a huge play for Saskatchewan's defense, and that basically shut the door on any offense production by Calgary. But I mean, the only reason as that Calgary's in this game is, as you say, the 113-yard return on the interception and toss to Trey Young that has given him some points and some maybe hope in the second half.
Henry Burris with meager numbers, 95 yards in that first half. This is a quarterback, Chris, that passed for over 300 yards 9 times this season and threw 34 touchdown passes to lead the CFL. Kerry Joseph staying warm as the night sky falls over Saskatchewan. He had a terrific first half, good on 13 of 20 attempts, 267 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception.
And that interception is very fortunate for Calgary because it ended up in their only points. But Fantuz just as easily could have secured that, and we'd have a whitewash on the other side.
And the overthrow to Fantuz, it could have been 14 more points. You're right, Chris. We're underway in the second half, and it's Marcus Howell with some jump to the 35-yard line. And the Stampeders will try to rekindle or at least ignite their offense here to start the second half, and we'll look at those first half statistics.
Well, you take a look at this, basically all domination by Saskatchewan. They've done everything. They've moved the ball. They had to say the one big turnover that resulted in the points for Calgary, but it's just total domination right now, and they want to make sure, because they only have 30 minutes left, and that's what Ken Oss is telling them. We have 30 minutes to secure a game in BC next week.
First down at the 35. Burris handing off to Joffrey Reynolds, who had 1 carry in that first half. And he doesn't get much there as he's dropped just across the line of scrimmage for a gain of 3. Henry Burris with 7 completions in that first half, 1 interception.
Well, as we look at his chart and his passing chart, he's got 1 big one downfield for 38 yards, but I think that he's had some real miscommunication, and I know a couple of times he's thrown the ball over Jermaine Copeland, and Copeland didn't even anticipate the ball coming his way.
And that 1 pick ended a good-looking 10-play drive into the wind. 2nd and 7. Riders blitzing. Burris throwing hard into traffic, and Nick Lewis has the catch and a first down.
Well, Nick Lewis has got to be a go-to guy, a spark, if you would, for this Calgary offense. He's got to be the guy that says, you know what, I'm going to get it done. Just give me the ball and I'll make things happen. Remember, he's had the big game in their victory over Saskatchewan. He had a couple of touchdowns and basically ran over some defenders from Saskatchewan.
He had his biggest game, 149 yards against the Riders. That was just his 2nd catch of this game. Burris, play action, back to pass, in trouble, gets away, ducks the rush, throws downfield. It's incomplete, intended for Copeland. He thought he was interfered with by Lance Frazier, but there are no flags.
Well, he was really making a lot of animated effects to the official to try and draw a flag, but Lance Frazier telling him to take that acting back to acting school. Take another look at this right now. Little play action. Just going to sit back there. Pretty good protection. It collapses, but he fights through it. Now that's just a case of Copeland not getting away from the intended receiver.
Well, Burris came into this game with a chip on his shoulder, wanting to prove himself to his old fans who've heckled him again here today. And there's a problem getting the ball off. Flags are down. And the indication is a procedure call against Calgary.
Well, there's where the 13th man comes into play, Mark. The noise. A little disruption on the offensive line as a result of procedure call. Somebody jumps a little early.
Calgary, number 64. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Jeff Pilon, the right tackle, the guilty party. Very difficult as a tackle because you're on the outside of the ball, the farthest away from the center, and you have to really try to anticipate that snap count.
2nd and 15, and the Riders have 7 defensive backs on the football field. Burris in the silent count, can't get the ball off. We'll try a 2nd time. Now he's got it. They drop 8. Burris firing and wide open as Brett Ralph drops to the turf. Did he hold on? He lost control of the football and went down like he was shot at the 39, but they're going to spot it and have a conference.
Well, that was interesting because he was so wide open. And as you mentioned, the Saskatchewan defense had 7 cover guys, and they're just going to drop back and try and take away every zone. But take a look at Maurice Lloyd. He kind of gets caught up with Eddie Davis, and I think that he's trying to slide out farther to the width of that field. He just can't get there, and that's the reason Brett Ralph is so wide open.
Look at the catch. He saved it between his knees.
That's a nice job.
And Kent Austin has thrown the challenge flag. He doesn't think the ball was kept off the field.
Well, it definitely looked like on that replay, as we saw it, that he had tucked it and then squeezed it between his knees, not allowing it to hit the turf.
Ralph
Saskatchewan is challenging the completion of the Calgary pass.
Ralph's had a career year, and this is third season of the CFL. 695 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns. That would be a 24-yard advance if it's ruled a completion.
Well, let's take another look, and the marker's right there, but as he goes down, you can see he's tucked right between his legs right there. Now, did the ball, the tip of the ball, the nose of the ball, if you would, hit the turf as he goes down? That would be an incompletion if it does hit.
I think he kept the ball off the field.
Well, it might be, and it looks like he rolled over. Nice job of keeping it off, but again, as he goes down right now, it's between his legs. Does the tip of the ball hit the field? That is what is going to determine whether this is a catch. There it is. Now as it goes down, does he keep the tip of the ball, the nose of the ball, off the field? If he does, it's a catch.
It looks like the nose of the ball is deeper than his knees, and that his knees may have provided a little distance between the ball and the field.
Well, if your observation is correct, then it will be ruled a catch.
That was the best angle we had, and there was no evidence there to overturn the ruling on the field that it was in fact a completion.
And that is absolutely, you need 100% proof to overturn. If there's any question at all, they will stay with the initial ruling.
Kent Austin wisely throwing the challenge to check it anyway, as the Stamps start this second half with some jump and some moxie. Brett Ralph wide open on that second down situation, and still awaiting the results of this challenge. Ken Lazarick has seen enough. He comes out from underneath the hood to make the call.
After reviewing the play, the ball was firmly in the Calgary's grasp of his legs. It's a completed pass.
So it is a catch and a beauty. And Kent Austin is furious. He was right close to the play on the Saskatchewan sideline.
Well, he also doesn't like to call for another reason. That he doesn't want to give any life to this Calgary offense.
It's a 24-yard catch for young Brett Ralph. And Austin is still combusting at the Riders sideline. First down, Stampeders. The ball at the Saskatchewan 39. Burris still looking for his first touchdown offensively of this football game. Back to pass. Throwing deep downfield for Rambo. He's got it. Touchdown, Calgary. Kenyon Rambo with the first offensive touchdown of the football game for Calgary. 39 yards in close coverage.
Well, it was almost as if Henry Burris had his earpiece attached to your microphone, and the fact that he hadn't thrown a touchdown pass. But look at this. This is beautifully delivered. Right only where Kenyon Rambo could run under it, and Sean Lucas could only slap his hands in disgust. Coverage was there, but that's a beautifully thrown ball.
DeAngelis with the point after, and it's good. And Kenyon Rambo gets the matchup he was looking for on the linebacker Lucas and goes 39 yards to the end zone. Kenyon Rambo has his first playoff touchdown, beating Sean Lucas for 39 yards, Chris.
Well, 39 yards, and here's the matchup. There's Rambo. There's Lucas. Now, guys, run this here, and I want you to freeze it right here, because here's the linebacker, Maurice Lloyd, and he has got to get a shot on Rambo to disrupt the route timing. He doesn't do anything. He just fans out there, and as a result, Rambo runs free and clean, straight past Lucas, and the result is a touchdown. You have to get a shot for your linebacker if your linebacker's called to disrupt that timing of that route.
Josh Ronick, who was shaken up in the first half, is back into the football game to return the kickoff along with Corey Holmes. But the ball will come to Holmes at his 11-yard line. Holmes with some blocking from Ronick. What a big block into a crowd. And Ronick is slow to get up again after a huge hit at the 30.
Mark, here's the problem. Calgary is back in this ball game on 2 plays. They've been badly outplayed the entire first half, and on 2 plays, it's come back, and they're right back in the game.
First drive of the half. This controversial catch by Brett Ralph set up this 39-yard bomb to Kenyon Rambo, and it's a 1-score football game. The drive began back at the Calgary 35 and ended in the Saskatchewan end zone. 1st and 10 for the Riders. Joseph, play action, rolling away from Karan Williams, throwing downfield. Fantuz at full gallop, gets a block and gets around France Clemens and forced out of bounds at the 50.
Well, Kerry Joseph does it again on his own as he evades the pressure of the defense to get to the outside. Let's take a look at what he's done throwing the ball. He's moved it all over, used 6 different receivers. Take a look downfield, obviously that big touchdown. First play of the game, 62 yards to DJ Flick, but a nice job of distributing it and spreading it around all his receivers.
He's got 2 100-yard receivers already in this game. Flick 3 for 100, and now Fantuz 4 for 101. First down, and the ground game is tough sledding to Corey Holmes as he twists across the 50-yard line, and will have a gain of about 2 on the play.
Well, you got to run the ball, Mark, and the reason is, if you want to run bootleg and get outside those ends, you have to make those ends respect the fact that you are indeed going to hand the ball off to the running back. Then when they cheat down, you pull it, you get to the outside. Put a can't-win situation in those defensive ends.
Ken Miller, the offensive coordinator and line coach, checking his ready list as Kerry Joseph comes to the line on a 2nd and long, 2nd and 8, facing the blitz. Joseph quickly getting it away downfield, flicks open and overthrown. DJ Flick was wide open down the sideline behind Trey Young.
Oh, he wanted that one back. He just put too much air on that ball, but as you say, DJ Flick got away from the cover man. This is wide open. Trey Young recognizes this way too late. Now, he's the safety. He's not expecting, he's actually anticipating somebody running with him. He's supposed to be the last resort, coming over in support. He's a linebacker, and I'm a little surprised that he got caught like that, because somebody else should have initially been covering DJ.
Jamie Borum to punt for only the 2nd time in the football game. The ever-dangerous Marcus Howell back to return. He's taken 2 back against the Riders. 1 this year for 96, 1 last year in the West Semi for 93. It's a short punt. Bouncing to Howell. He'll pick it up at the 13 and surrounded by the punt cover of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, going nowhere on the return. Stampeders backed up to their own 16 on first down. Burris, quick release. And there's Jermaine Copeland with a little hook route. He makes the catch and is upfield for a few more. And he'll have what looks like a first down.
Well, basically nothing fancy here. Just going to hook inside. Lance Fraser's a cover guy. Fraser actually quite fortunate to get the legs out from under Copeland, because he might have taken that a lot farther had he missed that tackle.
Burris with 1 touchdown pass in the game. Copeland's had some pretty good ones against this Rider secondary. Burris had 5 touchdown passes in his last game against Saskatchewan. 1 tonight. Hand off, Joffrey Reynolds, 3rd carry. Nowhere to go as Fred Perry slams the door on the wide side.
Well, basically Saskatchewan's defense, which comes into this game #1 against the run, only giving up an average of 87 yards a game, says, you know what, Henry, if you're going to beat us, you're going to have to beat us through the air. They've done a nice job so far of taking anything away via the running game.
Joffrey Reynolds has been in Tom Higgins' doghouse this week, apparently late for meetings, and he was issued an ultimatum: either you carry the ball and make some plays, or you may not finish the game. Ken Simonton is in uniform tonight as the backup. Here's Burris. A dump screen across the middle to Joffrey Reynolds, and he'll scoot upfield and be very close to the first down. But I've never heard Tom Higgins so tough on his big running back, who busted over 1,000 yards for the 3rd consecutive year this season.
I think, Mark, it was totally about the fact that he has started to put the ball on the ground. He had 2 fumbles in his last game that he played this year against Montreal. that was cause for concern because, you know, in the last playoff game last year, he also fumbled it twice. That was a concern. He says, you know what? I'm going to make you accountable. You put the ball on the ground, Simonton comes in. Simple. You're a professional. Play like one.
Ken Simonton, as we see the ball is just shy of the first down marker. He played his first game in the CFL last week, got his first start, had 114 yards and a touchdown against the BC Lions. So he's got ball. Third down gamble. Less than a yard at Calgary's own 37. They'll stack it up along the line of scrimmage. Burris, keeper, and he's hammered by Chunky Adams. James Johnson tries to bring him back, and this is going to be very, very close.
Well, Eddie Davis came over the top as well as they put everybody inside that tackle box. It's mano on mano, and he's trying to pick up a yard. Does he get it? It all depends on forward progress and that initial spot by that official. And you can see that Mullender, who comes in 95 from the defense, he feels that they stopped him. Look at
Chunky.
Well, Marcus Adams, I'm not sure he's going to like you calling him Chunky all the time. He may have to come and visit you in the hotel after the game, but that's a nice job by the big man.
They didn't get it. They didn't get it. Tom Higgins, Stampeders turn it over on downs. The third turnover of this semifinal committed by the Stampeders. There he is, Marcus Chunky Adams, who looked like he had himself a hungry man dinner on that third down gamble.
Take a look at the right side or left side of the offensive line. Watch as they go low. Now, the fact that they go low on the defense, that's a mistake. You must make the defense go underneath you. If you're going to sneak a quarterback and your offensive linemen are underneath them, that allows the defense to come over the top, make the play. That is a bad blocking scheme by that offensive line. It cost him the first down. Sorry, guys, Jay McNeil and all those guys. You got to stay up, blow those defenders back. But if you allow 51 to come over the top, your quarterback has no chance.
He just swallowed Henry Burris, and now there's been a challenge thrown by the Stampeders, challenging the spot on that third down gamble.
After reviewing the play, there is not any available conclusive evidence that they have a difference in the spot of the ball. The spot stays the same. It's Saskatchewan's ball.
Mark, it doesn't matter. The fact is, when in a short yardage play, stay up on the defense, force them back, make a linebacker hop over. If the linebacker comes over, by that time you usually got a first down. If you go lower in that offensive lineman, guys like Schultz and Adams, they're going to eat your quarterback all day.
Hey, that short yardage is all about heart.
You heard it first. Luke Mullender, part of that big stand. And now the Riders take over first down at the 38 of Calgary. Can they take advantage of the turnover? Hand off to Holmes, and he's devoured at the line of scrimmage. Gain of maybe 1 or 2 on the play.
Well, Calgary's defense has really done a nice job against the run by the running back. Aside from a couple plays by Josh Ronick in the first half, they really have done a nice job of limiting the gain by the running backs of Saskatchewan. Where they've been hurt is when Kerry Joseph pulls the ball and runs himself.
Neil Ternavansky, the ranked rookie out of Alberta, in for the injured Scott Coe, who went down in that first half. 2nd and 9. Joseph looks backside under pressure, complete to Holmes. He's upfield, but tackled shy of the first down. Big play by Ternavansky, the rookie. They'll hold him shy of the first down.
Well, this is going to be interesting where they mark this ball. Looks like they're going to come out and kick a field goal attempt. I'd like to see the measurement on this. It looks like he's awfully close.
2 yards away, Rick, or Chris.
Well, that's why I need glasses. I better go see my optometrist as soon as I get home because it looked closer to me.
Good, you'll stop borrowing mine. So Neil Ternavansky, the Alberta Golden Bear, with a big play, and Kanji now with his 6th attempt. Good on 4 of 5. This one from 37. Kanji. It's up. Good. Kanji with his 5th field goal to open the lead. 2-8. And just a reminder, in 2 weeks' time, the Grey Cup Classics are back by popular demand. They all begin at 12 midnight. We have some great ones back to 58, 69, 78, 94, the first win by an All-American team, Baltimore, and then 2004, the Argos in BC in Ottawa. Burris now dumping it on a crossing route and dropped. Nick Lewis was a little behind him, but you got to have it.
Well, these are the things we talked about with Henry Burris, whether he is on his game or not. Now, they haven't been on the field a whole heck of a lot, so he can't get any momentum or any kind of continuity with his receivers. But the fact is, this ball, as he sits here, he's got what he wants, and that ball is not terribly thrown behind him. I mean, that's the catch that I think Nick Lewis has got to come up with.
Stamps are lucky they've only given up 2 field goals on those 3 turnovers. 2nd and 10. Riders showing blitz, and they bring it. Burris rolling away, throwing downfield for Brett Ralph, coming back to the ball. It's incomplete, flag down as Eddie Davis heads for the end zone, but Lance Frazier helping to bust it up. Flags, though, back by Burris. This could be, it looks like it's against Saskatchewan.
Now, don't help Calgary's situation. Play smart. It's great to be aggressive.
Major foul, roughing the passer. Saskatchewan, number 26, 15-yard penalty. First down.
Well, that's Scott Gordon, the safety, who's taken over mid-season from Tristan Clovis, who comes free on the blitz. And you see, it's not so much the contact, it's where he contacts him. You can't hit the quarterback below the knees. It's a great call by the official.
It's a tough one, too, for a defender because Burris is likely to take off as much as he is to pass.
You're exactly right, Mark. That's a tough one. It's like a no-win situation for Gordon.
Big break for the Stamps. They go to Reynolds. John Chick slows him up, and he's stopped at the line of scrimmage. Reggie Hunt along with Fred Perry. And Joffrey Reynolds has gone nowhere on the ground here today for Calgary.
Well, it's all gap control, and it's about stringing out a guy like Joffrey Reynolds. Watch the fact that John Chick gets in there. Initially, that's supposed to go straight north, straight over the tackle. But the fact that Chick forces to the outside allows the backside to come into play. Look at Perry right there. He comes and makes the play, but initially, he slowed down. But the fact that he had a chance to make the play, that's why he kept hustling.
2nd and 10 into traffic and broken up. Eddie Davis on Copeland, but a flag down. And for the second and long situation, are the Stamps going to get a break with a Saskatchewan penalty?
Well, so it'll be another penalty, and it'll be against Eddie Davis. They're going to call it illegal contact pass interference. Now, illegal contact is contact with receiver before the ball is thrown, just for you people out there. Pass interference is when the ball's in the air.
Pass interference. Saskatchewan, number 29. First down.
Eddie Davis, who happens to be one of Henry Burris's best friends. They used to live together, and their families spend a lot of time together in Calgary.
Well, it's just right there. You can see there's the contact right there. He thought he timed it perfectly, but the official thought otherwise.
Another break for the Stamps to keep the drive alive. Burris back to pass, throwing deep downfield for Copeland. And incomplete, and Copeland's complaining again that he was manhandled by Lance Frazier.
Well, Lance Frazier is a great cover guy. You know what, in this league, you have to have great athletes at the halfback or defensive halfback. Now watch that. He's saying that he grabbed him initially on that inside, and as he tries to pull away to the sideline, that's when he says he got tugged on.
Wow, Frazier hid that perfectly. Stamps trying to make hay with the wind. Just 4 minutes left with the wind at their backs. Another 2nd and 10, the third of this drive. Downfield and incomplete. Copeland and Davis again, but this time Eddie wins it cleanly.
Well, it's a great poker match going out there because we've seen Eddie Davis initially on this drive take a pass interference, so we thought was pretty tight coverage. This time, no doubt about it, does a nice job of getting his hand on that ball straight up. Good chuck, Little contact, little hand fighting, that's perfectly legal. And the last second turns to find the ball. Now remember, if he doesn't face the ball and he plays the receiver, it's interference. Play the ball, it's not.
Big play by Davis to stop the drive by Calgary. O'Mani, an end-over-end punt, can't get it out of bounds. Holmes at the 17 and stopped in his tracks. The long snapper, Randy Chevrier, down first for Calgary. There's Josh Ronick still on the bench and injured. He was hurt in the first half, then gave a huge block on a kick return for Holmes and went down in the second half and has not come back since. Joseph against the Calgary blitz. In the pocket, standing in. It's incomplete. A one-hopper intended for Fantuz. He claims he caught it, but it's incomplete according to the officials, and he looks to the bench telling his coach, challenge it.
Well, he's looking at it. He thinks he secured it. I think he got his hands underneath the ball and cradled it, not letting the ball hit the turf. It's a bit of a panic throw as Kerry Joseph initially is trying to find someone, and just at the last second throws it, and it does look indeed like Andy Fantuz has his hands underneath it, but the flag's not thrown.
Second and 10, Calgary blitzing again. Joseph gets away from the first wave and then just throws it away. And so the Riders will have to punt the ball away. Tate George putting pressure on the quarterback on that play.
Well, interesting defensively for Calgary in the fact that the second quarter of this game, they got away from blitzing and they tried to just get pressure with the front four, and they were not having very much success. Now they're starting to bring the blitz package and forcing Borum to punt from deep at his own end, and it's a game of field position, as you know, Mark, so they won that battle.
Yeah, and the wind though is beginning to die down here in the evening in Regina as Borum stands at his own 5, and Howell is back along with Rambo. Borum just gets it. It's blocked. It's blocked and goes out of bounds as the Stamps bring the heat. Mark Caliste, the Canadian out of Tennessee Martin, gets through and got a piece of it.
You can never relax in a ball game, and you know Ken Austin, he's shaking his head in frustration because they've done everything they have to do in this ball game to win it, and they're making stupid, silly mistakes. Look at this. You got to slide down there. Anton McKenzie, 42. What are you doing? Usually you block out. I don't understand why everybody tried to block in. You do that, you leave that guy go directly to your punter.
Ken Austin maybe should have challenged that catch by Fantuz. Now a great opportunity for Calgary. Play action. Burris fakes the punt. Pass gets around Perry. In trouble. Strung out. Still on his feet and steps out of bounds. Very close to a first down at the 6-yard line.
Well, that is just a big play by Henry Burris, and again, not panicking. We talked about it earlier. He has the option of pulling the ball out from Joffrey Reynolds on that play action. Gets to the outside, forces Fred Perry to leave his feet, and that allows him to get to the outside and pick up what may be a first down. We'll see as they bring the sticks out, but a smart move.
They're going to measure this as Burris was forced out at the 6-yard line using his legs, the second leading rusher among quarterbacks behind Kerry Joseph this year, to get away from that pressure. Both Maurice Lloyd and Fred Perry in the neighborhood, and look at this. It looks like it's just shy, yes, by about 6 inches.
Well, just shy, but again, we've talked about how Calgary just keeps hanging around. So far, Mark, they've made 3 plays this ball game. The interception, the touchdown to Rambo, and the block punt by Caliste, and here they are again, knocking on the goal line.
95 yards passing in the first half against Austin's Riders. And now another turnabout. They got the big touchdown on that 113-yard return, shared by Carpenter and Trey Young. Now the turnover on the block punt, and a chance to make good here. 2nd and 1, less than 1, 6 inches at the 6. Burris taking the handoff, a dangerous play, and he loses yards. Reggie Hunt makes the play for Saskatchewan.
Well, Reggie Hunt had to come to play. You got to really come in there and you got to do that. And I mean, I told you that Reggie Hunt will be the guy that has to make his presence felt at key times in this football game, and that was one of the key ones right there.
It's a loss of 5 yards on the play.
Were you guys telling us to be quiet up here?
Burris fakes the handoff to Joffrey Reynolds and is stopped in his tracks as Reggie Hunt was right in the backfield untouched. Third down and 6, a touchdown opportunity taken away, and a field goal by DeAngelis from the 18-yard line. So the Riders dodge a bullet as Reggie Hunt, the Western All-Star, makes a huge play. And the Saskatchewan lead is 5.
Take another look at that, and that's exactly what you want to do. They have played that perfectly. Guys, could you freeze it right there? I'll tell you why. Back it up just a couple seconds. Why this play is so successful is Reggie Hunt can commit to the quarterback. Right there, guys. That's perfect. Because look at this. Reggie Hunt can go here. John Chick takes the pitch, man. That's why that play works.
2nd and 6. Why aren't you going forward? Why are you going back into your own backfield? Completion to Yo Murphy, or rather DJ Flick. And he'll be a couple of yards shy of the first down. To the sidelines, here's Mark Connolly.
And you can see on the bench that Josh Ronick is on the bench. He won't be going back in the game. Suffered a concussion and is out. Mark.
Thank you, Mark. 2nd down and 2 for Joseph and the Riders. Their own 43-yard line. Waggling 4 receivers wide side. The give is to Holmes into traffic, and this is going to be very close. He needed to get to the 45 for the first down. And the big man on that D-line, Eddie Freeman, is saying they stopped him. Just a reminder, the Pontiac Alpine Ski Series and CPC is set for you at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. From Lake Louise, we'll have the men's downhill. So a measurement on the short carry by Holmes, and it is short by the length of the football. Now, will you go for it in your end after what Calgary did in their end and turned it over?
Well, I think it comes down to momentum and getting some of the momentum back after the block punt by Caliste, and you held him to a field goal by DeAngelis. You got to start grabbing that momentum back, and I think you definitely have to go for it, especially with it only being a length of a football.
So the Riders will go for it. 3rd and the length of the football at their 44-yard line. 33 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. And then the Riders will have the win. Joseph up behind O'Day. The big quarterback will easily have the first down with the quarterback sneak.
And Mark, with 20 seconds and ticking into the wind, whatever's left of it right now, they'll be able to kill this quarter and take the win in the 4th.
You know, Chris, we talked about Kerry Joseph and how he's carried this football team this year with the injuries to Dominguez and now Wes Cates. Yo Murphy was out for a while. It all began, though, his leadership when he took that $125,000 pay cut in the offseason to reduce his salary from $350,000 to $225,000 to help the Riders with their salary cap. Joseph away from the rush to the wide side, and Michael Palmer has his first catch of the game, and he's knocked down by Cedric Williams on the final play of the 3rd quarter.
How y'all feel? Say how y'all feel? Yeah!
Fourth quarter straight ahead here in the West Division semifinal, and the Riders with a 5-point lead before this capacity crowd at Mosaic Stadium.
Well, the interesting thing is obviously the Stampeders slowly crawling back in this game, albeit on big plays. That block punt by Mark Caliste led to a field goal by DeAngelis.
With the win now and first down, play action, and Joseph eludes Karan Williams. Now he heads upfield. First down and more on the run.
Number 4, Gary Johnson.
Joseph with a big carry and slow to get up.
Joseph is a warrior in anybody's books. The way he pulls this and eludes, watch the guy at the top. This should be a tackle for a sack. He runs away from that, gets the outside, switches the ball mid-flight, directs traffic to his blockers, puts his head down once again, and runs over people.
Took a big hit, Chris.
Talked about it earlier. He's not doing the slide. He's not doing the safety measures. He's just doing whatever it takes right now to put his team in the best possible position to take away some points and win this football game.
With Brandon Browner just with a big hit to take the quarterback down. He has a gain of 24 yards. We talked earlier about Andy Fantuz motioning to the sidelines to Kent Austin to challenge that non-catch by Andy Fantuz earlier in the third quarter. We found out now from Jim Daly in the officials box that they're out of challenges after they lost the challenge on the Brett Ralph catch.
Well, that's right. Well, you know, that's another good reason to have Jim Daly here as well.
So they're out of challenges now with a quarter to go. And now was the official, the referee, shaken up on the plate. As Ivan Gutfried talking to Ken Lazarick.
That's Dave Hutton, 53, doing a little stretching and hopping exercise.
The other part of losing your challenge is you lose your timeout too, and that could be costly.
And I got, you know, Ken Lazarick, a fellow Winnipeg, will never forgive me for mistaking him for another player or another official. It is Ken Lazarick.
While there's a delay, Chris will remind our viewers the series Heartland, normally seen every Sunday at 7, will return with an all-new episode on Sunday, December 2nd. Until then, you can go to the website for new videos and features. Just log on to cbc.ca/Heartland. What a day it's been, what a week it's been here in Saskatchewan. 28,800 fans, another sellout, the 7th straight for this first home playoff game since 1988 for the Roughriders. And you know, they probably could have sold 40,000 seats for this football game. Scalpers were getting upwards to $500 a ticket online.
That's amazing, but that just shows you the power of Saskatchewan. It's everywhere. Every stadium we go to across Canada, it's always got a section of green.
And it looks like there's going to be a referee change here as Ken Lazarick swaps hats and the backup comes in. Murray Clark is the field judge, and he has refereed several games over the last few years, and he will now take over as the referee. So Lazarick to get some attention for whatever ails him, and the Riders with first down at the Calgary 33. Joseph fakes the pitch, looks backside, throws a crossing route. Fantuz climbs the ladder and holds on. What a catch, and he took another big shot. What a day he's had here in this West semifinal.
Well, Andy Fantuz, as you say, has done it all. We saw him cough up a catch in the end zone, but 99% of this afternoon and early evening, he has made plays, Mark. And not only after he's caught the ball, but look at the effort as he goes high to secure and snag balls full, knowing full well he's going to take some punishment. He has been a warrior as well.
He's been the feel-good story of the year. Andy Fantuz in only his second year out of Western. His 5th catch that was for 112 yards now. 6 receivers downfield. Joseph throwing backside. It's low. Holmes goes down for it. He'll have the catch, but the gain will only be a couple of yards on the play.
Well, a quick hitter trying to get Holmes, and he had a clearing route run by Yo Murphy up the sidelines, hoping to draw double coverage on Murphy, allowing Holmes to be open. But as you see, linebacker Trey Young just comes straight over there, hoping to get a little mismatch or a little open space for Holmes to take advantage of.
Yo Murphy, the ranked veteran on this team. He's won everything: a Super Bowl, a Grey Cup, a World League title. Back to pass. Joseph throwing deep and just throws it out of the park with that big arm with nobody open and pressure in his face. A field goal situation as Kanji comes out looking for his 6th. In the meantime, here's Mark on the sideline.
Mark Ken Lazarick was taken off the field here, and he was treated by the Riders training staff, and now he's getting ready to go back in. He injured his hamstring. They wrapped it up, and now they're sending him back in. They said we can get the players back in, we can get the refs in too.
All right, so Ken Lazarick toughs it out.
I told you he's from Winnipeg.
Yeah.
They're tough out there in the prairies.
No question. Kanji has been good on 5 of 6. This one from the 27 is wide. Kanji no good on a makeable chip shot with the wind at his back. It goes through the end zone for a single point. Welcome back to Regina. A 1-score game after that missed field goal, a 6-point lead. There's Jermaine Copeland, who has 3 catches on the night. Let's check back in on him.
Mic'd Up, brought to you by Rogers, Canada's most reliable wireless network.
Oh! Anything to stop us, fellas. That's all good. And open up some damn holes, man. We ain't getting no running game going.
Well, Copeland and the Stamps have got to get something going. They trail by 6. First down. Burris back to pass. Throwing wide side, and wide open is Ralph. And Ralph, who has been open on several occasions, has a first down.
Well, and again, Saskatchewan sitting in that deep zone coverage. And I mean, Burris just finds the receiver, Ralph, behind the linebacker, Sean Lucas, 31. Now, 31 is going to drop down into his zone. And as he goes to his roll, he doesn't get enough depth. And that allows Ralph to go behind him, and it's an easy pitch and catch.
There's Maurice Lloyd. We talked about how banged up he is. His abdominal area has been injured. He's getting some attention. Ken Austin alluded to the fact that he and several players might not even get out of the first quarter, but he's toughed it out here to the 4th. And now Mike McCullough, the young Canadian in his 5th year out of St. Francis Xavier, will come in. He started 2 games this year in place of Lloyd when he was injured earlier during the season. And now he'll get a chance to help backstop this Rider defense.
Well, he's also had all the reps at practice all week with the first defensive unit as well, Mark.
There's Richie Hall, who has stayed composed. He said to us yesterday, you know, I've only played in 1 Grey Cup game, and it only felt like a Grey Cup before and after the game. I hope my defense carries that same calmness, and they'll need it here. Play action, Burris pumping, wants to throw deep. Nobody open, and he throws it away. Burris was looking for Rob Cote out of the backfield, but Cote got banged up in the secondary and couldn't get free.
But a nice job of switching it up a little bit and doing a little bit more of a man coverage. They cover the guys downfield. It forces Henry to hold on to that ball. He can't find anybody. He throws it harmlessly out of bounds.
Henry Burris, in only his 5th year as a starting quarterback in the CFL, is 32 years of age, and he told us yesterday he feels the body clock ticking. He hasn't got a lot of time left to make something good and take his team to the promised land. Riders blitzing, Burris pumping. He rolls and throws it to the sideline, and a nice tiptoe catch near the Stampeder bench as Burris is hit by Kitwana Jones.
Mark, there's a couple flags, and the first one should be a procedure against or an offside by Copeland. Copeland jumped the gun. He tried to get back. He was offside, but then it looked like they also had a holding. We saw a little bit of a ruckus going on behind as Burris got to the outside. It looked like Jeff Pilon was involved, 64. See how this sorts out. Not a good sign. They're talking to Eddie Davis, one of the defensive captains for Calgary.
He says take it back.
Yeah, Calgary was anytime they talk to the opposing defense.
Calgary, number 80. That penalty's declined. Holding. Calgary, 64. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Well, they'll take the penalty that pushes them back further.
The most penalized team in the CFL.
Jeff Pilon does not like that call, Mark.
No, that's too bad, but it counts, and it's back to the 50. 2nd and 20 for Tom Higgins. the embattled head coach of this Calgary Stampeder football team. There's Pilon. Fans, the 13th man here in Regina. Getting loud. Burris with a deep drop. Gets away from Kitwana Jones with the ball. Jones, though, is flagged.
That's throwing the ball away. Intentional grounding of the ball. He was in the grass from Kitwana Jones.
And Ken Austin says decline it. We'll force him to punt. Kitwana Jones, that big second and long linebacker.
No infraction on the play. There was an eligible receiver, number 21, in the vicinity. It's an incomplete pass. Third down.
Well, big break for that. The fact that they found the receiver in the vicinity. I thought he was in the grass, but heads up by Burris to get away and avoid the sack and lose additional yardage, but still a punting situation.
Duncan O'Mahony stands at his 35-yard line. Corey Holmes, the lone man back for the Riders. 11 minutes and counting to go in the game in regulation. A 6-point Regina lead. A deep spiral punt to the near sideline. A beauty that makes a left turn and goes out of bounds. No return on a 42-yard punt, perfectly placed by Duncan O'Mahony. Back in Regina, and a reminder, Saturday championship figure skating on CBC at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 1:30 Pacific time. It's the HomeSense Skate Canada International on CBC, the gala performance. First down, Saskatchewan at their own 18-yard line. The wind has died off here in the second half. Play action move and a shuttle pass to Holmes at full stride. Holmes quickly upfield and finally tackled at the 39-yard line.
And Mark, he looks hurt. He's going to pop up. He's going to show his toughness, but he did not get up. And you see right now, he's trying to shake that off, and he had a shoulder injury. You see that right arm hanging there, Mark.
Second last week of the season, he got hurt on the first kick return in Edmonton. And this is tough news for Regina and Saskatchewan fans across the province, as they've already lost Ronick.
Well, we talked about the only other guy they have is Neil Hughes, 32, the Regina graduate. Boy, get to play in your home park here.
Gain of 21 by Holmes before leaving with the injury to the short side and incomplete. The ball intended for Yo Murphy, and it hits the turf.
Boy, you talked about that earlier, Mark, the fact that this Saskatchewan team is so banged up. Wes Cates out, got the arch problem. Corey Holmes now, as he takes the shovel pass and does a nice job, but I think as he goes down hard. He's trying to secure that football.
Look who got him. Trey Young, one of the nastiest hitters in the league. So Holmes trying to shake off the shoulder injury, and you know he'll do everything he can to get back in the game. The most popular player in green and white. Here's Joseph on 2nd and 10. Wide side, wide open. Corey Grant, nice move on Krantz Clemens, then on Cedric Williams, and he's still downfield. Finally wrestled out of bounds at the 44-yard line. One of the veterans in playoff experience in his 14th playoff game.
Mark, watch Michael Palmer, 77. He's going to go backside. What a great job of blocking on Battle, the blitzing linebacker. And that allows the extra second, and then it's all Corey Grant. He does the rest with some electrifying running, picking up some great yards after the catch.
What a resilient Saskatchewan offense. They keep losing players, but they keep moving the ball. Here's the handoff to Holmes, who's back in the football game. And he goes right up the gut. And we'll have a gain of 3.
Mark, you talked about Corey Holmes. Here's a guy that went to Hamilton last year, missed the playoffs, always felt like he was green. He just said, you know what, I'm a rider through and through. Was so happy to come back this year. All the fans that met him at the airport when he got traded back here, and is so excited to be back in this playoff game and performing.
2nd and 7. This offense has not had the same 2 combinations at slot back and wide receiver 2 weeks in a row since the first week of October because of injuries at receiver. They've already lost Wes Cates and Josh Ronick. And Holmes is all banged up. Here's Joseph rolling from pressure. Fans say run, and he does. Upfield, first down.
Well, it's the X factor. I mean, Kerry Joseph didn't just rush for 13 touchdowns, one away from the CFL record held by Doug Flutie. The fact is, he knows when to pull the ball. He knows when to try and take the life or stamp the life out of that defense. What a nice job of getting around the corner again and then ducking the ball and making people miss. And you know what? He picks up another first down.
Yes, the rushing leader among CFL quarterbacks, Kerry Joseph, approaching 100 yards. That was his 9th carry for 87 yards, a gain of 9 and a first down. 5 receivers downfield on the play-action move. He fakes the shovel and throws to a wide-open Andy Fantuz. Fantuz was hard to bring down, and the big receiver lays out for another first down.
The fact that Kerry Joseph is getting so many yards running the ball to the outside, the ends don't know whether to come in, to go out, and every time there's a crease, Joseph has taken advantage of that, buying himself more time to complete his passes downfield to the likes of Andy Fantuz.
Fantuz well over 100 yards receiving there. They are 126 in detail. Having a red letter day. A gain of 14 and a first down to the 17 of Calgary. Here comes the blitz. It's a flat pass to Holmes. He's got some speed. Gets through Brandon Browner, and even with the shoulder injury, he is playing physical football, and there's a flag on Browner as he throws the football after tearing it out of the arms of Holmes after the whistle.
Well, Holmes tossed the ball to Browner, and Browner took offense and rifled it back at Holmes. I think he's going to get the flag, but initially,
there's 2 flags.
You're not allowed to, throw it. It's disrespect to your opposition. You'll get a flag or objectionable conduct penalty. Would they give one? Did they give one to Corey Holmes? It'll be interesting to see how this comes about.
After the pass was completed, for objection to conduct, Saskatchewan, number 1, 10-yard penalty, second down.
Oh, what about the retaliation, though? That should have been offsetting there, Mark.
No question.
And who would have thought, number 1, Corey Holmes, would take a penalty like this? Now watch at the end. I think he takes objection because Browner's trying to rip the ball. The whistle's gone already. And I mean, that is so, I got to tell you, I know when it's objectionable conduct, when you're trying to taunt an opponent. Woo, I don't know about that one, my friend.
Here's Eric Tillman, the GM, and he's furious too, having words with the Regina Constables.
He wants them to arrest that official.
Big penalty, though. 2nd and 15. Ball backed up to the 22. Joseph against a 5-man rush. He's got time. There's the screen to Holmes. He makes a move on Chernovatsky, a straight arm, and can't get away from Cedric Williams, but there's a flag. This might be a face mask, Chris.
Absolutely, and that's what they're saying. Look at Corey Holmes. Bad shoulder and all. I've seen so much gutsy play out of Saskatchewan team, whether it be Fantuz, whether it's Joseph, and about Corey Holmes, the way they're playing today, it's inspirational.
All right, here's the call as they move the ball all the way to the 10.
Foul, face mask, Calgary, number 30, half the distance to goal line, first down.
Well, the team that led the CFL penalties once again flagged, and boy, what an inopportune time, because they're trying to stop Saskatchewan, not let them continue this drive. Great call by the official.
So Holmes draws the penalty, and now it's 1st and goal from the 10. Saskatchewan, 3 receivers wide, short drop, quarterback draw. Joseph at the 5 and dragged down and pays a price to the 2. The ball's on the turf, but they're going to mark him down. He's taken a couple of big shots in this quarter.
Well, but I mean, he is, without a doubt, playing his heart. He's leaving nothing on the field because he is giving it all. Every time he sees an opportunity, whatever the play is called, he is taken off and run. That's his 10th carry mark.
93 yards now in the game. Remember, he won the game with a quarterback draw on the Labor Day weekend here against the Bombers in the dying seconds of that game. Now it's 2nd and goal from the 2. Double tight end formation, Roughriders on a huge play offensively. The give to Holmes, and he's stopped at the line of scrimmage. Matt Grudigan makes contact one of the toughest tacklers on that Calgary defense.
Well, Grudiger's in there, but Trey Young just comes in, 33. You see him talking some trash. He's letting Corey Holmes know that if you want to run that ball, son, don't come to my side. Go to the other side. As you say, Trey Young out of the University of Montana. Watch this stick. That is a nice job of coming up and filling a hole. Grudiger's there as well. Gotta love that team pursuit shown by the Stamp defense there.
Well, this Stampeder defense has been a lot better, a lot tougher since they went to the 4-3, and they're going to force the 8th field goal attempt of the game by Luka Kanji. This one from 10. He is good on 5 of 7. Fantu's the hold, and Kanji is good. His 6th field goal to match his season high, and some breathing room for the green and white. Glorious night here in Saskatchewan as we remind you to log on to cbcsports.ca and cast your vote for Warrior of the Game. You decide the true hero who shows character in this one. Warrior of the Game brought to you by the all-new 2007 GMC Sierra Professional Grade. Corey Holmes has got to get some votes, I would think.
Well, I think Kerry Joseph has really shown me something today.
A 9-point game, a 9-point lead. 2 scores are needed by Burris and the Stamps. He's going deep downfield for Rambo, and Rambo can't get clear. Going one-on-one with Sean Lucas.
You know what, Mark? There should be pass interference thrown against Rambo. He basically tackled Sean Lucas, not allowing Lucas to try to come up with an interception. Got to be good for the goose, got to be for the gander as well. Just working straight downfield, one-on-one. Now watch as he goes now. He just tackles. He just basically you see him, he's wrapped around Sean Lucas's feet. I mean, you got to call it one way, you got to call it the other.
Yep. 2nd and 10. Burris backing up, facing blitz. They bring it. Burris, time, throws it short. Brett Ralph is hammered by James Johnson on the corner, but very close to the first down at the 45-yard line. The shutdown corner who led the Riders this year, James Johnson, did with 5 interceptions.
Well, that's a nice job. I mean, Brett Ralph gets to where he needs to be. He should have maybe gone up about a half-yard further. Great contact. That's a great closing on the ball by Johnson. I think they're still going to come up about a half a yard short.
A little bit of slack in that chain, and you're right, Chris. They are a half a yard short for Tom Higgins Stampeders, who have never come from behind in the 4th quarter this season.
Well, they stopped him on the 3rd down gamble earlier when big Marcus Adams, or the man you affectionately called Chunky, ate up Henry Burris on that attempted sneak. Let's see what happens this time.
Now the 13th man standing. All 28,800. Third down gamble. They load it up. Hand off. Diving play by Joffrey Reynolds, and he'll have the first down to quell this crowd.
What a gutsy call. You're half a yard away, and usually you think the quarterback's just going to tuck and get behind that line. Now, he did get stuffed earlier on this attempt, but to hand the ball deeper to allow the defense an opportunity for penetration. But look at Reynolds go, take to the air, and pick up that first down.
Yep. First down against the #1 run defense, and flags fly. And this might be coming back. Yep.
Procedure. Calgary, number 69, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Time is running out on George Cortez and his offense. Tom Higgins, what's going through his mind on the sidelines after a week of reports that he'll be fired and replaced by John Hufnagel? He said to us yesterday, if this were to be my last game, I have no regrets. He's already talking like it's over. Burris back to pass, a bullet, and it's complete to Ryan Thelwell, but Thelwell is shy of the first down, and that's his first catch of the football game.
Well, I don't think we're into 3-down football yet for the Stampeders. They are down by 9, but it looks like Henry Burris is going to keep that offense on the field, Mark.
3:49 and counting.
That's only second down. That might be on.
Still only second. Yep, with 3 to go. Thelwell with an 11-yard gain. Riders rushing hard. The ball's away to Thelwell and complete on the crossing route. And it's another first down as he beats Eddie Davis. Thelwell 2 catches in a row for this Calgary offense. You know, getting back to Tom Higgins, he said a few other things yesterday, Chris, as we take another look at that Thelwell catch. He said, you know, I've been associated with the CFL for 25 years. And I look back and I say, where did it all go? This really does sound like a man who knows he's going to lose his job in the awful way he's been treated. That ball incomplete and nearly picked on the far sideline by Eddie Davis.
Well, Mark, I agree with that. And I tell you, one of the things that I dislike immensely is whoever leaked that story. I think it just is not, it shows a lack of class to me. Tom Higgins is one of the finest individuals you ever meet. Great, believes in family, faith, and friends. I mean, I just think that he's done it. He doesn't deserve to have this hanging over his head, especially before this game is over.
He got a raw deal in Edmonton, too. 3 first places, finishes, 1 second, 2 Grey Cups and a victory. And he got canned there. An incomplete pass under pressure intended for Thelwell as Burris goes to the well one too many times. And incomplete. The 3-minute warning has been issued here at Mosaic Stadium. A thunderous ovation for the Roughriders here in their first home playoff in nearly 2 decades. They've got the lead by 9 with 2:46 to go, and the 13th man trying to put pressure here on Henry Burris and the Stamps in desperation. A 3rd down gamble, 10 yards to go. Movement along the line of scrimmage, no flags. Now there's one late. A jump ball and a completion to Brett Ralph. It's incomplete. They're going to wave it off.
Mark, they're going to wave this off, but the flag was thrown late, as you mentioned earlier. It looked initially like the interior of the Saskatchewan defensive line jumped. Interestingly, though, after the play started, then the flag was thrown. Nice job of getting the ball.
Offside, 97 Saskatchewan.
Yep.
5-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
That was John Schechter calling. So it puts him in a 3rd and 5 situation.
One more chance, Austin saying. We can't keep giving them chances. 2:32 on the clock. Burris facing the defense and the stadium. Here comes the blitz. They bring the house on Burris. He tries to escape and throws downfield. Incomplete. Stamps will turn it over on downs. The 4th turnover of the game for Calgary.
Mark, what a great call. Defensive coordinator Richie Hall bringing an all-out blitz. Lined up, that is Scott Gordon. He's coming from deep in the secondary. Times it up perfectly. Great call by Richie Hall for that defense.
Now Joseph, play action to the short side, and Tay George will wrap him up for a short gain of maybe 1 or 2. Richie Hall, who has been involved with this football team for more than 20 years, going back as a player, a winner of the Cup back in '89. He's been through so many head coaches and so many ups and downs, and all those dry years in his defense, all beaten up, has been ferocious today.
And Ken Austin had a philosophy that I love. He said, every one of my coaches, including Richie Hall, says, we will make you a better player at the end of the year than where you started. And if you buy into our program, you will see that you have improved. 5
head coaches he has been through here. Joseph under pressure. He escapes. There he goes again. And he'll be just close to a first down and over 100 yards on the ground today. And a reminder, Wednesdays on CBC, all your favorite characters are back for a brand new episode of Little Mosque on the Prairie. Then from the host of The Amazing Race, a new series where contestants take on the challenge of a lifetime. No opportunity wasted. Wednesday on CBC. A measurement here, and they'll be a little bit short. And again, the story of Kerry Joseph's tremendous year continues as he leads this team with his arm and his legs.
You know, Mark, we did that game, the final game of Joe Paupau's career in Ottawa, where we saw Kerry Joseph become the third quarterback to rush for 1,000 yards and pass for over 4,000 yards. What a great thing that was to see. I'm more impressed by what I've seen today from Kerry Joseph.
He's been under so much scrutiny and so much pressure. He dropped the opening faceoff the other night at the Regina Pats junior game. He was talking about the mood swings in this province, how the ebbs and flows rise so high and so low. And he was telling us the other day that, you know, he didn't go into his bunker, but he said we have to stay away from the distractions here. You don't go into hiding, but you stay focused. You don't watch TV, you don't read the paper, you don't listen to the talk shows. You just stay on an even keel, and he's been that level-headed quarterback and leader.
Well, you know, you talked about the fact that he took that $125 grand pay cut to stay with the club. He's also was voted the Molson Cup, the most popular player. I say most, I get a little excited right there thinking about a bubbly after the game. But you know what? It's, you know, that, I mean, that just shows what the fans think of Kerry Joseph.
Yes, he's in the midst of his best season and the nominee for most outstanding player in the West. Jamie Borum, end over end. Howell, what's he got from the 15? He's dangerous, beats the first wave and is surrounded. What an effort by the Rider cover team. And time running out on Henry Burris. Burris with a screen pass to Joffrey Reynolds. Reynolds upfield, breaks a tackle, fighting for the first down, and will be a couple of yards shy. They'll give him a gain of 9, 2nd and 1 in a hurry-up situation with 1:34 to go.
Well, hurry-up situation. I think the fact that they're going to start using Joffrey Reynolds is kind of ironic in the fact they only gave him the ball once in the first half.
George Cortez has been foiled by this mean Rider defense. Burris again with a screen pass. The Riders will give them that all day, and they'll gang tackle Reynolds at the 40 with a first down to stop the clock with 1:22.
Well, it's interesting. You know, we look back over the game. We wonder how they were going to orchestrate offensively. I was very surprised, as was the panel when they came out at halftime, that the fact that they did not use Joffrey Reynolds more in the first half. He is a game breaker, had 154 yards against Saskatchewan one game. Totally underutilized today.
Burris pumping, throwing downfield. Kenyon Rambo open at the 25 and tackled from behind by Scott Gordon, the safety. And Burris now with a sense of urgency.
Was this another replay of G. Simon getting behind the defense? What are you doing here? Scott Gordon's got to stay deep, and here he is. That's Scott Gordon right there. But nobody picks up the guy that's running right here through the middle between the zone. By the time Gordon reacts, he's got to chase and bring down Rambo, but a big play by the Stampeder offense.
Gain of 54 yards to Kenyon Rambo. Time ticking now into the final minute. Burris against the blitz, backpedaling, throwing a post, and it's caught in the end zone by Rambo. Kenyon Rambo with 2 big plays, 54 yards, and that one 16 yards into the end zone for the touchdown. And 53 seconds on the clock.
Wow. I mean, I know you may want to play a little prevent, but I mean, that's just too much prevent. You can't sit back like that. I mean, Kenyon Rambo with his 2nd touchdown of the ball game. I mean, he's just making it look too easy.
They'll go for the convert. It's good, and it's a 2-point game. Stamps a field goal from winning, and 53 seconds on the clock.
I just don't understand what they're doing on that. You know, we've just been praising this defense, how well they've played, and they got to regroup pretty quick because that was 2 breakdowns, and You can't let a guy like Rambo, who basically was the entire offense, and again, I mean, there's, you know, no concern shown by Richie Hall, but Rambo, I mean, just busts up the middle. Nobody covers him. Look at that, 5 for 154. I mean, he's had big games, but you can't let him run free. And then you play soft in the end zone, let him curl up for an easy pitch and catch for a touchdown.
Both teams huddling now. You know the short kick is coming. And the Stampeders will have their hands team on the field, and Rambo among them. He's had the best hands for Calgary today, 154 yards through the air.
Well, and Mark, Calgary has made big plays today. The block punt, the touchdown to Rambo, another touchdown to Rambo. They've just hung around. They haven't done it all game. They just find their places in the game to make plays. And you better hope, with this biggest one coming right now, that Saskatchewan can come up with this ball with 53 seconds left.
Stampeders facing their 3rd loss in a row in the West semifinal. Tom Higgins facing his 4th consecutive loss in a semifinal. The first back in 04 when he was a coach of the Eskimos and then lost his job after that game. And here he is in the 3rd straight for Calgary, and they get it out of bounds. It's Ryan Thelwell, it looked like, batted the ball out of bounds, and a celebration breaks out, but a flag is down.
Oh, they may be offside. And if they're offside, what a great pooch kick by DeAngelis. And the flag was thrown at the line of scrimmage of the cover team or the short onside kick team of Calgary. Oh my God, Ryan Thelwell thought he made the play of his career. Ken Lazarick with the call right now.
They're going to have to do it all over again, it looks like, Chris.
But they'll have to push him back.
Uh-oh. Hey, bring Ken over here. Bring Ken over here.
You want to make sure.
It's our ball. No, it's a touchdown.
They want to decline a penalty. That's why he wants to see Ken over there.
You don't want it. Offside. Calgary, number 30. 5-yard penalty, re kick.
Ken Austin thought they could decline and get the ball.
The ball was touched, though, out of bounds by Calgary. Ryan Thelwell.
Well, you better get off the field. Sorry, Mark. I mean, I see guys walking off from Saskatchewan kind of laundering off right now. Calgary's ready right now, and they do in the bunch. They've got everybody lined up around the kicker. And the reason they do this is because they're not sure if they're going to go this way or this way and try and put a little confusion in the receiving team.
Fantus to the near side. Khalil Hill to the wide side. He was a terrific returner in college, so they got good hands waiting for Saskatchewan, and the hands team will try to duplicate that last play and get the ball back. Here's DeAngelis. Pooch kick again. Jump ball. And the Riders have it. It is Khalil Hill with his biggest play, his only play of this game.
And Mark, how fitting is it that the team that took the most penalties in the CFL this year has a penalty come back to bite him in the backside and cost him an opportunity to perhaps kick the winning field goal.
Yes, you're right, Chris. The penalty negating a great play, and they can't do it again. Right there, Khalil Hill steps into the fray and holds onto the football to deny Calgary possession with 52 seconds to go.
And here's the one prior to that, Mark, when they tried it. Ryan Thelwell got his hands on, but somebody jumped the gun and cost him.
Joseph rolling, sliding, protecting the football, going down right near the line of scrimmage. Chris, the dying seconds, let's update your game notes.
Well, for Saskatchewan, the F Troop, we talked about Fantus and DJ Flick. They must come and lead the charge. Flick, 62-yard touchdown opening play. And what about Fantus? What a game he had today. On defense, keep Burris Corral. Don't let him take off. Don't let him run. 328 yards passing. Big plays, 2 touchdowns, but he also had an interception and a fumble.
Tom Higgins in the agonizing final seconds of this game. All the rumors about his job being finished. He's held his head high, taken the high road here. Joseph under pressure will scoot away and then slide at the 35. Now your Calgary game notes.
Well, we talked about Henry Burris, and we said Hank or Frank. Hank, the good quarterback that shows up, or Frank Frankenstein. I thought he played pretty good. I mean, not consistent. I don't think they utilized Joffrey Reynolds very well, but He had a fumble and interception in the first quarter. He led some good drives, but albeit too little, too late. And on defense, 4-3 must let loose. The new defense by Tim Burke, the coordinator. They allowed 395 passing yards, but I think the 103 rushing yards by Joseph is the one that hurt him.
What a game for Joseph, a season high here at home in the first home playoff. The Stampeders now looking forlorn and disconsolate on their sideline as the final seconds tick off the clock. Joseph, with one eye on the clock, will head back, let the time drain, and take a knee. It's all over. The Saskatchewan Roughriders prevail in their first home playoff game in 19 years. And the Stampeders go down to defeat for the third year in a row in the West semifinal. Ken Austin, in his rookie season, leads his team to the West final. Eric Tillman with Jim Barker, the two GMs with a handshake as the confetti flies here at Mosaic Stadium, and the celebration is on in Saskatchewan.
Well, they made it interesting right to the very end. Gotta give Calgary Stampeders credit, Mark. They really came back. They fought. They made a handful of plays, but those handful of plays almost got them a chance to win this football game.
Henry Burris could not light it up against a steadfast defense thrown up by Richie Hall and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Mark Calise can only look on as the celebration continues around him. Let's go down to field level, and here's Mark Connolly.
Thanks, Mark. Kerry Joseph here, and they handed you the game ball, Kerry. You had a great game, and it's a good win for you guys.
It was a big win for us. You know what? It's never easy in the playoffs, and we just thank God for this victory. We play hard as a team. We thank the fans for the North as number one.
In some ways, it could have been a lot easier. You guys made it tough on yourselves.
We did. You know what? We got to make more touchdowns. We got to find a way to get the ball in the end zone. We could have opened this game up a lot earlier, but we did. But you know what? In the playoffs, 2 points. As long as we have 1 point more than them, we'll take it.
And a word about the fans, because they were fabulous today.
It's awesome. It's priceless for what they did for us today. We're glad we was able to get this game to them.
Now you can focus on the BC Lions. That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, but you know what? We're going to be ready to go. You know, we know what happened last year, and we're going to be ready to go. It's a good football team we're going to face.
Best of luck, Kerry.
Thank you.
Kerry Joseph. Mark?
And Mark, Kerry Joseph took the lead on the very first play with a 62-yard touchdown pass to DJ Flick, and they never gave up. And they will head west to Vancouver to take on the BC Lions.
Nowhere in this country is there a greater love affair with football than in Saskatchewan. What a gift from the fans to the players, and what a gift from the players back to the fans. The Roughriders were beaten up, battered and bruised, but they still won. And the most bruised of all is Corey Holmes, and he's with Mark Connolly. Mark?
Well, Elliot, there's no one the fans love more, and I think the feeling is mutual here with Corey. And just talk about the fans today.
Man, the fans are magnificent, man. This is the greatest place in Canada to play, in Mosaic Stadium, man. It's a positive atmosphere. Knowing where I started at the beginning of the year, I was in Hamilton. Now I'm over here, man, and, you know, God knows what's best for us all. God knew what's best for these fans. We hosted a home playoff game. We came out. It was a tough game, but we stuck together as a team, and we persevered through it.
Well, you toughed it out yourself. A bit of a shoulder problem, but you managed to stick in there.
Yeah, I toughed it out, man. I had a little stinger, you know, that's been bothering me because of the cold weather and everything, but I couldn't come out the game. You know, I couldn't let my teammates down. You know, this is something that I've been preparing for the whole offseason, to be in this position, you know, playing for the playoff, giving ourselves, you know, a chance at the Grey Cup. And I couldn't go out the game. You know, Josh went down, and I was the only back left. You know, I just had to, you know, run with one arm out there and just try to make plays for my team.
Well, you guys did give yourself a chance to win, but you gave Calgary a chance to win, too. They kept coming back.
Yeah, hats off to Calgary, man. Calgary showed up to play today. You know, in the playoffs, you throw all records out the door. This team came out today, and they showed that they deserve to be in the playoff. They played well, but, you know, we glad the Riders. We came out with the victory, and we look forward to going to the Western Finals in BC.
Best of luck, and enjoy it with the fans here.
Thanks, fans. Hey, I love y'all, Saskatchewan. God bless you.
All right, Corey Holmes. Elliot?
You know what, Corey Holmes, they love you too, and they also love Kerry Joseph. A lot of talk coming in about Henry Burris saying maybe I should have been the Western nominee. 395 yards passing, 108 yards rushing, more than 500 yards of total offense. The West's most outstanding player is that man, and Kerry Joseph deserves to be. What a performance by the Rough Rider quarterback today.
Warrior of the game, brought to you by the all-new 2007 GMC Sierra. Professional grade.
Watch the bottom of your screen. It's the guy who's not even being kicked to who goes offside for the Calgary Stampeders. And as we bring the panel back, David, Greg, and AJ. David, I thought Chris Walby said it best. Calgary, the most penalized team in the league, they shoot themselves in the head in the last play.
It is always the little things, the things that you snooze on at practice, and they come back to bite you in a crucial moment. And I just feel bad for the guy because, you know he didn't plan on that happening, but this is just something that you just have to be disciplined in.
Yeah, it's an execution at the most critical time, and that's what makes a championship football team. And ultimately, when you make mistakes like that, you're not going to go to the next level.
I think it's inexcusable. It's no different than a receiver being offsides on a run play.
All right.
Can't have it.
And you know what, that happened a few times today too. Here's the play that probably changes the game. Calgary blocks the punt. They have 2nd and inches inside the 10 here. And AJ, what did you think when you saw this?
I think it's an incredible play by Reggie Hunt. I think he came off the ball, saw what he wanted to do, and attacked.
Well, and I think that they got too fancy on offense. This is when you got to just grunt it out and be able to just pass north and south. Get too fancy. There's a couple plays here this evening that I just thought they overcoached themselves.
I thought it was great to see Reggie doing the things that he does best. That's what Coach Austin was saying, pass rushing. That's something that he's been great at, blitzing, and he's a free agent this year coming up, so it's something that you just go, wow, he stood up in the time.
Made himself maybe an extra 10 to 15 grand on that play.
I think so.
David, last point to you. You played here. Watching this and what's happening tonight, what are you thinking?
You got to play the entire 60 minutes, and then sometimes they wavered a little bit. But it's great to see the fans here get their team in that next round of playoffs and be able to do it again.
What a spectacular evening. Now, Tyrone Williams of the BC Lions, one of their best players, is standing by. He is going to join us next from Vancouver as we look ahead. You're still 2 wins away from the Grey Cup, guys, but at least you got a playoff win. Tyrone Williams in BC next.